All right, everybody. Welcome back into another episode of the markleskopodcast. We're going to talk, Thomas is going to give his piece on Pat Kraft and PSU. He gave me a theory last night, and it's coming from not in a bad way. It's coming from an outsider's perspective because he's a college football fan. He's not a Penn State. Well, you're a Penn State fan, but you're more of a college football fan.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that. And then the PSU search, just saw an article in Sports Illustrated that Bob Chesney is projected to be the next head coach. And then rivalry weekend. Aaron and I were talking last night about last year, how there was like literal crimes going on like after every game. So it's pretty funny. But welcome back in, Dad. Dad's joining us again.
I'm hearing a double.
You are?
I'm hearing some overlap.
Okay. Aaron, are you hearing anything?
No.
Thomas, are you?
I'm not. I'm good on connection. If you try to refresh your mic, should be okay.
Your mic's plugged in, right, Dad?
Yes. Let me try.
Were you hearing it before?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Aaron, a viewer of the show. Good to have him back on.
Appreciate
Welcome in, Aaron. And Thomas, another viewer of the show. It's good to have you on too, man. Brett, he works tomorrow, unfortunately, so otherwise he'd be on. But for those of you guys listening, we're at 975 right now on subs. So by the end of this episode, I want to try to get to 1,000. So if you guys come on here, you're listening, please help us get to 1,000 subs. We'll try to hit the mark tonight. So do it for Brett since he has to work tomorrow. But Thomas, you start us out, man. You give your thoughts on the you give your theory on what you think might be going on right now.
Yeah. So last night we talked about the fact that maybe I said something about James Franklin might be one half of the picture that we're seeing as fans. And when that firing happened, he might just be one half of the issues going on up at Penn State. Okay. My thoughts,
Okay.
Just my thoughts, just my general theory. Might not be correct, but I just want to say this. It might be long-winded. I'm reading from the text that I sent last night. So,
Yep.
The other administrative and financial issues and the power dynamic with Kraft potentially turned toxic, and the relationship dwindled with James Franklin. This starts out, we're going to go back to Joe Pa days. It's no surprise that when Joe Pa left the program, a huge void and power mantle imploded at Penn State. And that mantle for leadership was being re-identified with then Bill O'Brien, who saved the program, and then re-identified with Franklin. James Franklin brought some successes and wanted financial gain and authority rivaling Joe Pa. And who wouldn't? He wanted to be Joe Pa. When you're at Penn State, you want to embody what Joe Pa meant to that program. It would be the same thing as DeBoer wanting to be Saban. Lofty expectations, trying to get that money to supplant him for that long-term success with that power grab. So this is evident. The administration, however, never wanted something like this to happen ever again. In my theory, it instilled an athletic director after Sandy in Kraft who could be more of a conventional but tough authority figure on the head coach. So the administration side of things, it's instead of it just being Joe Pa, now it's your traditional athletic director, your board of trustees, your presidents, and the power dynamic is more collective, let's say. A little bit different than what happened with Joe Pa and then the subsequent things that happened thereafter negatively.
Mm-hmm.
You could say, going back to Franklin, you could say that Franklin was meddling in power dynamics above that of a head coach. But you could also believe that Kraft had his meddling affairs as well in handling the football team. I sent a video, and this was of the Villanova game, but it's synonymous with every home game this year. Of you see James Franklin on the sidelines, and you see Kraft to the left of him, just speaking his mind the entire game. If you're at, let's take this to common sense, like practicality at any job. If your boss is right next to you and you're trying to lead and try to do your job, are you going to be at your best when you're being overlooked right next to you and somebody's just shouting out whatever's? I'm not saying that might be Kraft that's doing that. I'm not saying that that's the way to go. But is that the power dynamic then that Kraft wants to have with the next head coach? I will now kind of go into the fact of what Kraft came in there to do as an AD and what Franklin, kind of backtracking a little bit on what Franklin was hired to be. James Franklin was hired to take the program from O'Brien, make it a contender. And he succeeded in that, and now we're talking like mid-2015 to 19, when they won that Big Ten championship. They defeated Ohio State one time. Okay, the next step, taking that next step within the extension of what he got to then become that national perennial power, to win the big games, to get to the national championship. Almost did that last year. Okay. Kraft, on the other hand, Kraft is in there to help Franklin and Penn State. He's also there to supplant that more conventional approach, not just it being a one-man show, because obviously in this world of NIL, it's a lot on one person.
Yeah.
And it will almost never be that one man, like almost Joe Pa-esque show of a figurehead almost anywhere in college football anymore. It will have to be a collective. So going back to Kraft right now, overreach on both parties in this relationship with Kraft and James led to a very tumultuous relationship. You saw whenever he tried to get more money and have that extension to be more like Joe Pa, to have that long lifer Penn State coach. And Kraft was like, prove it. And then James Franklin was like, well, I'm going to work around you, Kraft, and I'm actually going to, try to get the money and try to get to the extension above you. Go to whoever's above Kraft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That started really severing the ties between Kraft and Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
So you go back to the sidelines of where he's kind of micromanaging the micromanager. People call Franklin a micromanager. People have been called Franklin a micromanager. I think Kraft's a little bit of that too, but I understand the justification of why. Because if you go behind somebody's back, you're going to be right there with them, making sure that either we're developing trust or, prove it. Is basically what Kraft was saying. The disconnect with Franklin and many of the boosters, that's something that's always been there. He wasn't what the old guard was. He wasn't what Joe Pa brought. He wasn't Happy Valley Joe Pa. And nor could he ever have recreated that. Joe Pa is one of a kind. what do you like? His whole entire storyline, you cannot recreate that at Penn State, especially not off the rebound. And James Franklin was PSU's real rebound. Wasn't O'Brien.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, turned out that way.
Yeah. So the disconnect of the administration to support Franklin, and with the Letterman, as you have explained in various other videos, can and might be a hindrance going forward that none of us see as diehard fans. One would hope that that Pat Kraft continues to strive for excellence, yet allows for coaches to coach and players to play. And what I mean by this is, right now, if you saw the Ford interview, the recruit Ford, there was an interview, it was on a different podcast, that he directly talked to Pat Kraft, not Terry Smith right now, but Pat Kraft is really the figurehead of Penn State kind of recruiting. It's kind of being pushed on Pat Kraft to explain the dynamic right now. Mm-hmm. So him and his family and his high school coach are actually going through Pat Kraft, and various other recruits are probably doing the same. Keep an open mind is what the replies were, which were Pat Kraft's words. His position coach is Barnes, and he alluded that he's trying to retain Barnes. Mm-hmm. So, those types of things. But what I'm really getting at is right now we're in that interim phase. We're in where that AD has added the athletic director. Pat Kraft has a lot more responsibilities that the head coach would, and to where his style of how he runs the organization now, does he leave that to the next head coach? Does he leave that to Terry if Terry gets hired? Does he leave that to another head coach? Or does he keep on this power dynamic in this responsibility until somebody proves it? Or does he almost act like a Jerry Jones figure, a top level manager that is an owner, a manager, and a coach, And that's what it concerns me, of why I say some of this responsibility could turn south with Pat Kraft. It's very easy to say, hey, come to Penn State. This is what we are. This is what we do. I speak for the team as Pat Kraft. To where then you have a triangle of, you have Pat Kraft at the top. You have Terry Smith right now as a pseudo interim coach / possibly back to an assistant, or, the same thing like what Franklin was, the coach in waiting, if this were to happen, the firing to happen. And then you have the new coach. So that creates like that dichotomy that we've been talking about of, who do I answer to as a player? Who do I answer to as an organization? That balance and feeling that out. When you don't have just one person that speaks for the entire team and it's aligned, an organization gets kind of gray. And they really have to iron that all out. I hope Terry stays for the benefit of Penn State. And I hope that Kraft finds a way to delegate these responsibilities back to a proven head coach as he proves himself. And I'm not knocking Kraft. I'm just saying where it could go wrong. And then you're at Penn State as a result of going wrong would be miles below what it is. James Franklin's built it up to mid-tier. Top 15 almost every single year or better. Not winning the best games, but we could have that dip in the next 2 years. Next 2 years are a rebuilding phase with recruiting, with people leaving, and we can hit that NIL hard like Pat Kraft wants to. He wants to hit the NIL hard. He wants to build a contender fast. He also wants to to have the best of both worlds and a long sustaining head coach and long sustaining success.
Mm-hmm.
What is most important for Penn State? For me, it's that long sustained success. I've seen it through Harbaugh in Michigan. I've seen it through Meyer at Ohio State. Great coaches. But you win, and then you have all these issues going forward that just decimate the program. So you won all of it, but for what? And Penn State needs to be there. You said it the other night with tradition. Penn State needs to be a university that holds those values at the highest level. If anything, their honor and integrity come absolutely first, and we do this right. A get-rich scheme will not suffice at Penn State. It will throw out the donors. It will throw the program back 10 years. And I seriously hope that if Pat Kraft ever gets asked this question, would you rather have a national championship team next year, or would you rather have a sustained, long, successful program that attains a national championship and you're competitive and you beat the Michigans and the Ohio States and you go to bowl games and win? Would you rather have that? For me, I'd rather have that. It's building something for the future.
Yes, you were saying that basically the dichotomy between Franklin and Kraft could have been half and half, which I don't think that's true. I think Franklin, he was watching Franklin because Franklin was, first of all, he went behind his back to get more money when there's literally no reason for it. And I think Pat Kraft is in a position, he's doing the best he can. He came in, he took over a job that he knew what he was getting himself into. I knew he wouldn't put up with Franklin's crap, and he didn't. And we saw that. I said that for a long time, that he wouldn't put up with it, like asking for a raise, stuff like that. But so there's that. And then you were saying how Terry and his one presser on Monday, that he looked like he was a little upset that maybe he was told no about the head coaching position, compared to Saturday night, which the 2 days are totally different. He's coming off, he's got so much adrenaline going Saturday night after all of that happened, that, yeah, he's going to look different. Maybe he was told no, maybe he wasn't. I don't know. But he's I think Pat Kraft is doing the best job he can. He said from day one, this is going to be my search, 110% buy-in from me. I checked with Chris Gorky last night about what you said, and he hasn't heard anything to that effect. So I think Pat Kraft is in a really hard spot, but he knew what this would be, and I think he's doing the best he can to make this work. I think it's going to work out really well. Penn State will always have long-term success. 100%. I mean, it's Penn State. There's a lot of people that talk crap about Penn State. It is what it is, but it's a blue blood program. To me, it's the Mecca, and you would be crazy not to take a head job here, unless you're just not ready for it. But I kind of understand what you're saying, Thomas, but I just, not to take anything away from what you're saying. That's your theory. That's a theory. And I just think that ultimately Penn State is they're literally doing the best that they possibly could right now. They beat Nebraska. They beat Michigan State. Hopefully they beat Rutgers. Then they're going to a bowl. And whoever they play in that bowl, I think our roster will play under Terry Smith. There's a lot, so I think that's kind of like the situation where I think Pat Kraft and Terry probably get along great, but there's probably a little bit of a rift right now because Terry wants the job and a lot of people want him to have the job. That's why he has to stay. I don't think there's any chance that he does leave us right now. He loves Penn State. He loves these players. He loves this school. And I just don't see him ever leaving. People are saying that some people were like, "Would you think he'll leave for go to VT?" No, because he is way too
probably
smart to do
retire.
that. Yeah, he's way too smart to do that, and he loves Penn State. So the only thing that worries me, based off what you said, is if there is some rift there, and he is looking past or stepping over Terry Smith, Pat Kraft is going to be the next one that's going to be let go of Penn State.
Yep.
We're not going to put up with that.
This hire is his job too. He's going to ride or die on this hire.
His job is on the line. But if there's ever serious word that he's not treating Terry with respect, he's in trouble. So we'll just say that he is not going to be welcome here very much longer. So I hope he's showing Terry Smith the due respect that he deserves, but also keeping it realistic that Terry Smith, well, yes, we'll get into the search, but the only part that worries me is if he is not respecting Terry Smith, and I really hope that's not happening. I doubt that's happening, that he is respecting Terry Smith. I'm sure they get along great. But based off what you said about the Monday presser, I don't know. He seemed okay to me, but he may want the job, and he's not going to get it. He gave his piece. He said, "I know Penn State better than anybody," which, to be fair, of course he does. Of course he knows Penn State better than anybody.
Of course.
But does that translate into what we want? And that's national championships. That's turning this around, in a timely manner and building this up for the future. Does it translate to that? Because, again, like we talked about the other night, tradition, you have to tie tradition in with today's game. We can do that here.
Yes.
But can Terry Smith's leadership as a head coach lead us to a national title? I say this, I know it can lead us to wins over Ohio State, Michigan, so-and-so, Oregon. I know he can beat them. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Can he win us a national title? Being on that big stage, that is something that you almost need experience somewhat. James Franklin last year, he was one game away. If they had done good this year, he would have known what that felt like going into that final game to get to the next game. He would have known what that's like because he was there. Credit goes to him for getting there. But he would have known what that's like. Marcus Freeman had no idea what that was like. And they beat us. I from what I remember, I don't think they were ever they were in the playoff. I think were they in the playoff under him at all at that point?
Yeah.
Freeman.
Freeman's first go was last year.
But I believe that Notre Dame was in the playoff earlier with Kelly.
Yeah, that was
100%. Yeah, but Freeman. Yeah, you're right, Aaron.
Yep.
His first year was last year, and they went into Texas A&M and won. But Franklin, he would have had that experience this year if they had done well. That's a big stage. Like if Terry Smith makes it to the playoff, first of all, or does he make it to the semis or the national title? I have all the confidence in the world in him. And another thing too is it's his rot, but we'll get into that. But anyway, I think Pat Kraft and Terry Smith I think it's all okay. But the last thing that you said was there's going to be a triangle between him, Pat Kraft, Terry Smith, and maybe Bob Chesney if he's the head coach. We don't know.
Yeah.
But there could be a power triangle there that there might be some rift there like there was between him and Franklin. But I do think whatever went wrong in general and between him and Kraft, that was on Franklin. I mean, it's not like the guy wasn't like that before and he didn't rub other people the wrong way. So, yeah. Anybody else want to say?
Yeah, Mark. One thing I'm not sure about, and I think I mentioned this in our discussion, was I don't remember when, and I'd have to go look at the tape, when Pat became the left hip on the football field when he was out there.
Well,
was that
23, he was out there.
Was he out there? Okay.
Yeah,
So
like Ohio State in 23, he was right there. Yeah.
Okay. Post 22, but 23. The reason that's significant to me is when I looked at the team, I always judge how a team is doing mostly by the way it shows up on the field. And I didn't really see a substantial change in Penn State at any time from 21 in terms of the way they played, from 21 through 25. Even the collapse this year, I know it was surprising, but I wasn't super shocked by it necessarily because this was a team that had a habit of playing down to competition. As I've said before, they would disappear for 30 minutes of a game and then have to come charging back at the very end. And to me, it was just, hey, this time you didn't make it back against UCLA, and you didn't make it back when you needed to with Northwestern. But it wasn't like the style of football or the quality of football was substantially different. They just were getting away with it, and this time they didn't. And it was bound to happen sooner or later. If you play with fire, you will get burned. So that was kind of how I saw that. Was I don't know that Pat Kraft being on his hip changed much, other than Pat Kraft, I guess, being annoyed with him and wanting to be on his hip, which is, it's never fun if you're trying to coach a game and you've got your AD on your hip right there. I'm sure it's not a lot of fun. But at the same time, I also don't know what motivated, like what put Kraft there in the first place. Were there things that other coaches were saying? Were there things the offensive coordinator was saying? Hey, Franklin's interfering with my play calling. He wants to intercept every single play call I want to send to the field or something like that. And that convinced Kraft that he needed to be on the field to try and control something. I don't know. But it is very strange that he felt compelled to do that. But the timing of it, like I said, if it was right after he got his extension and a whole lot of stuff changed right there, I might feel more like Kraft was impacting it in a negative way by being there. But I didn't see a significant change to the way they play football from 22 to 23 to 24. I still saw all the same things that made me say at the beginning of the year, they're not going to beat Ohio State. They're not going to beat, Michigan, because the way they play, they can't win like that. It's not going to work. But that was my take on it.
Yeah, I'll just say this. Thomas sent us a video earlier in the chat. At the end of I think it was the Villanova game when they scored at the last second, and Pat Kraft was there, Franklin was there. They were both hands on knees watching the play. They caught it in the back of the end zone. I thought that was very odd when I saw that because of the way Franklin reacted. He handed his headset off and walked onto the field. It's like he didn't even care. Now, if that was Terry Smith, I think he would be pretty upset. You never saw Franklin yelling at refs, really. Terry has been cussing refs out left and right since he started. So,
yeah, he does that.
It's not the first time he's been right behind him like that. And I thought that whole reaction was odd of Franklin. But I never felt like them being on the sideline together. I thought they probably got along pretty good, honestly. They had their disagreements, but I think they got along professionally. I think they got along just fine. I never thought that was weird or anything. I like Pat Kraft being on the sideline. I want all of our main coaches on the sideline. I don't want anybody in the booth. You can have other guys up in the booth. They have eyeballs too. Put them in the booth. You need to be on the field. So, yeah, I think the AD being right there, first of all, he's the AD of the whole school, but he's on the sideline of a Penn State football game. That's a big deal to me that the AD is there with the head coach during games. Again, he's the AD of the entire school. There's multiple programs that he's got to worry about, but on game day, he's on the sideline. So that shows me he cares. So I never thought that was odd or anything like that, but like you said, Aaron, I don't think it affected him too much. I think Franklin affected himself more than anything. Franklin was pretty much always his worst enemy. Dad, do you have any thoughts on that?
Sure. You have a lot of thoughts. I'll probably cover Pat Kraft and PSU and the PSU search all in one here.
Okay.
Okay. Jopa, born and grew up in Brooklyn. Street smart, maybe a street fighter. I can't verify that, but he brought that street fight mentality to Penn State in 1950. Instilled it in his players from 66 to 2011. Made boys into men. One of those boys into men was Terry Smith. Played for him for 4 years. We've all had coaches that, beat us into the ground. These two soldiers in our presence remember who trained them to fight. Terry Smith wants to emulate Joe Paterno. He has the same mentality as Joe. At the Indiana game, I witnessed, especially the defense, jogging off the field, not sprinting, not shoulders down, heads down, just no fight. Went to Michigan, nothing against Aaron or Thomas, but the Marines landed there. 5 sacks. Oh my gosh. In the last 4 minutes, we beat the heck out of that quarterback. That was, wow, that was really exciting. From Indiana to Michigan, what a difference that Coach Terry made. And then Nebraska come into our house, and we told them it was our house. And I believe, the feeling I get is Iowa, Ohio State, we didn't do too good on defense. But instead of, Terry having the power, he has the power to let go, let go of the OC, let the OC go, let the DC go. My feeling is, he went to them, or he had them come to him, and he said, I'm not going to let you go, but this is the way I'm going to run the defense, and this is the way I want you to run the defense. There was a big difference between the way they played in Ohio State, Indiana, and the way they played at Michigan.
Big.
I think he took over. I think he took over the offense and says, you're staying, but this is the way I want the offense run. I just think he has the guts to take control. That's my opinion on that. I mean, and then as far as Pat Kraft and PSU, I think it's the easiest decision that Pat has under his tenure at Penn State. Terry wants to make boys into men, okay? And the fight is won on the field. And if you win the fight on the field, everything else falls into place. Money, fans, bowl games. If you can win the fight in the trenches and on the field, nothing else matters. And I think Terry Smith can do that. He can win it with his players on the field and in the locker room. And then, you don't want to bring in a $100 million 10-year contract like LSU does and then get into a bind like, holy crap, 3 years in, we're 6-6. Then the buyout is $70 million. Terry wants to coach football. He doesn't want to. He's not a politician. He doesn't kiss ass. He kicks ass. So
I got that
get
right.
him a no, 4-year contract. Okay, 4-year contract, say under $16 million. He wants to coach. He doesn't want to be a politician. Okay, he brings his first year in. He brings his freshman guys in. Give them 4 years to turn them into whatever. And if he can prove that he can turn his freshmen into fighters in 4 years, then re-up. You know, that's my opinion. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Pat has the momentum with Terry Smith right now with the fans, and especially the players. Let that momentum go. Keep going. You know, not a 10-year, $100 million contract. That just doesn't make sense anywhere. And also, they maybe should be looking for a GM and not a head coach. They already have a head coach. A GM that's going to just take 100% of the NIL responsibilities. And a head coach should always be close to the transfer portal, because if a player's looking to transfer, maybe especially the head coach got to talk to that kid and say, okay, what's up? What's going on? I think I think he mentioned that when Pat Roll come to his office when he was in high school coaching, and a player come in and Terry sat down and talked to the player in front of coach, and that's where the other coach gained a lot of respect for Terry. I think Terry can keep a player from transferring, but NIL is a whole different ballgame. That's a head coach cannot control NIL and be a head coach at the same time. He can't get the players in a fighting mentality and try to be an NIL coordinator at the same time. It's just impossible, but he needs to stay close to the transfer portal and what's going on there. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. I mean, Thomas made a very good, interesting, thoughtful presentation there. Maybe Pat's watching them. Maybe Pat heard something that he didn't like and he had to be a witness there. I don't know. But I wouldn't want my boss sitting behind me. I'm not sure if he's in the dugout during baseball games or right behind the head coach during a volleyball game, but I think he needs to be at the game, but up in the upstairs somewhere watching. He can see what we see. Right? That's all I'm going to say. That's all. Thank you for your time, Mark.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing about Terry, I want Terry Smith to be the head coach too. He's just a solid coach, and I think he should get the job. Minus, put everything aside. If you think about it, this team has totally improved every week since he took over. With a freshman quarterback. Now, a few factors. He did help a lot with recruiting. I think he is largely responsible for the recruiting at Penn State, especially the defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
Dixon is here because of Terry Smith, for example. But this roster is a head coach Franklin roster. Franklin was the head coach when these guys came here. A lot of these guys came here because of Franklin. We see all the decommitments. It is what it is. So Terry Smith is going to have to. He's been coaching for 4 games, right? The math. He has 5 games.
5. 6 weeks, 5 games.
5 games. So he has now, if he is now the head coach, he has the off season. He has everything that entails. He has roster turnover, new guys coming in, new assistants, everything that goes into being a head coach. He has to deal with that now. He's not just coming in after a firing. He is fully on adrenaline. Doesn't take anything away from his ability, but he is fully on adrenaline right now, trying to help his school. He loves Penn State. So when let's say we lost this week, or we lost in a bowl game, like let's say we lose the bowl game. What are people going to say if we lose a bowl game? Or because we blame a lot of it on the assistants right now, but what are people going to say if you lose to the bowl game? And then we go into the offseason with a loss. Is it going to be different in terms, not from like Letterman and stuff, but just fans? Is the support going to be different? I don't think so. But I want Terry Smith to be the head coach, give him a shot, give him a 2 or 3 year deal. But at the same time, I just hope that he's being treated right and treated fairly. And if he is the head coach, that it doesn't go bad, because that will be heartbreaking. But at the same time, if he is not the head coach, he's here and he's helping the next guy, because who said, Terry Azing, whatever that is. He said, I don't think we fired Franklin just to hire his assistant. I would like Coach Terry to get it, but I think it'll be someone else. So as much as I want to hope Terry gets the job, I just don't think he will. Therefore, I don't want to focus on that, because I really do want him to get it. But like I said before we got on, I don't think he's going to. So I want to focus on what I think will actually happen. And that's what can he do for us right now to keep him on this team and keep him as involved as we can. That's what I want to focus on. Yeah. But I just hope if he's not being considered, that he's at least being shown the respect that he deserves. Terry Smith has to stay at Penn State, or this whole thing could implode, because the fan base is all behind him. So whether or not we wanted what we want or don't want, it doesn't matter. It's what actually happens. And if he gets it, everyone will be happy. But if he does not get it, then I think Bob Chesney, as an example, is a great pick. Yes. Because I think he will be fully on board. He's a moldable guy, and he's going to build his team with us and with Terry Smith. Use the analogy of a veteran quarterback, and they draft a first round quarterback. That veteran's still there. Say the starter takes over. That veteran is still there to show him the ropes if he's doing it the right way. And that's what Terry Smith is. So it's a tough situation as a fan, because I really want him to I do want him to get it, but I don't know.
Well, if that marriage is, you mold all of the old school mentality of Terry Smith, right? And you have his biggest disadvantage is the possibility that he's not going to be able to recruit NIL transfer portal guys. And then you have the guy that's just over in Terry Smith, or not Terry Smith, and Bob Chesney, who took 53 players plus and inputted them into his JMU roster, not Signetti's players, his players, and went 10-1 in year 2 and won the Boca Raton Bowl last year. So you put both of those dynamics together, plus Chesney's NIL, it's almost like you don't need a GM, and you have this beautiful marriage. And whether it's Terry on top or and Bob like as an assistant, whether it's the opposite like of what you said, which is probably going to happen, Bob is the coach, Terry is the assistant, it's going to be a beautiful marriage. I really hope that happens to the benefit of Penn State.
Yeah, one thing that I want them to, I hope does not happen right now, is this is very delicate, because if you hire Terry Smith right now, which makes total sense, if you hire him right now, 2-3 years down the road, it doesn't work out, fine. Be an assistant for us, retire, whatever you want to do. But because there's plenty of fish in the sea, down the road, there'll be more coaches out there. But there won't be another Terry Smith.
Nope.
So if you don't hire Terry Smith now and it doesn't work out, all we're going to hear is you should have hired Terry Smith. And on top of that, but here's another thing too. And I hope us fans, it's in one ear out the other. James Franklin at some point is going to say, yeah, that's why I hired him at Penn State. So he's going to say that at some point. And he also did say, I stay in touch with Franklin, which does terrify me. But Terry's a smart guy. But I just think it's pretty delicate because if they don't hire him right now, then and it doesn't work out, Pat Kraft is gone.
Yeah,
most likely. And there's going to be a lot of Letterman fans, alumni, very angry. And this hiring of Terry Smith, if they do hire him, it's redemption. People still do not donate here because of what they did to Joe. That was so wrong what they did.
Yep.
By the way, the guy that made the announcement of Joe's firing, long story short, his son tried to walk onto the team and he didn't make it. So might have been some motivation there. But, the Lettermen were not welcome under Franklin. The Lettermen are now welcome under Terry. They could totally redeem this school if they hire Terry Smith. And it doesn't work out, fine. Well, at least we tried it. But this whole fan base, this whole family, Penn State family, will be back together. No one donated to Franklin. No one liked him. This whole family will be back together if they hire Terry Smith. So they have to, I don't know. They have to do it right.
Yeah, and I want to say something for Pat Kraft that I think you got to remember Pat Kraft has not gotten his chance to hire his guy at Penn State. He's been working behind the scenes here for a long time.
I believe fully in Pat Kraft.
But I will say this. When Pat Kraft came on, that's when you started to see the money behind the program start to change and the booster mentality started to change. It wasn't when Franklin was here. It was when Pat Kraft came in that started to change. And I can tell you now, I don't think they get that $700 million stadium renovation if Pat Kraft isn't running that show.
Right.
So, I have plenty of things I've seen about Pat Kraft to give him the benefit of the doubt, let the man do his job and see what he does with it. If he's convinced Chesney's the guy, I'm okay with that. Let's see what happens. But I am concerned about losing Terry because when you look at the tape, there's no question this team has done a complete 180 from anything I've seen them do in 12 years. They look like a totally different team. And I've always said this, I'm the type of fan that my team doesn't have to win all the time. They just have to play good football. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to play bad football, you better win. And if you're going to play good football, well, if you play a good game with somebody and it was really entertaining, I'm still going to cheer for you. I'm still going to be pretty happy with how that went.
Like you said, Aaron, we wanted life this year.
Yeah, there was no
life.
Now there's life.
The Undertaker popping out of the coffin. That was us after Nebraska. I mean, totally back. I mean, not even close. We are totally different now because of Terry Smith. But at the same time, from both sides, Terry Smith was given a job. He was the assistant head coach. That you're the vice president. The president, whatever, something happens to him, you're the guy now. That's Terry Smith. He's the vice president of Penn State football. He has to step in and do his job. That's what he's doing to a T. Now, there's been some clock management issues. There's been some decisions that we don't agree with. Again, we can blame the coordinators right now. We don't really know exactly what's going on. But I think Terry Smith has a full grip on this team now. And it took him some time, which obviously it's going to take you time, but he did it a lot quicker than I think most people would. So he's stepping in, doing his job, and that's it. That is his job. He's doing his job right now. So he's focused on Rutgers, then he's focused on a bowl game if we make it. So, I don't know if he's even really totally Yeah, I mean, he is the right guy for the job because of the way he speaks. He is, would you say, Dad? He not an ass kicker. He's not
He's
an
not a
ass kisser. He's an
politician,
ass
you know.
kicker.
He's not a puppet. He's Terry Smith.
He's the opposite of what we had.
You know, kissing butt. I mean,
He's genuine.
he doesn't cave into the
Very good.
people. He's the boss. It's his way or the highway, kind
He
of.
said this is his locker room. That's
Right.
why I think kids are going to play in the bowl game. They don't have a choice. You're playing in the bowl game.
Yeah, I mean,
back in the day, we didn't not play bowl games. You're playing in the bowl game. So
yeah. He mentioned that in. Yeah, go ahead, Thomas.
They're going to play. This is the rest of the season's an audition for every single player, so they'd be stupid not to.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this about Terry Smith, and if Bob Chesney is the guy, which it's looking like it, these guys have an open mind, and it seems like with Terry and with Bob, they put their scheme to their players. They don't take their scheme and enforce it on their players. And Franklin and Colonel Nicky were just that. You can't play football in your mind. You have to play it to your strengths. Exactly. Terry was great at just fitting that, and I think Bob Chesney is too. So it could stay the same offense. You're not going to have the same team. You're not going to have the same running backs. It's totally going to change. But I think that Kraft is going to put the right person in place. And that triangle that we did talk about, I think that it will settle down. Next year is going to be a little tricky, but we'll see how it goes.
I did want to touch on something Mark Lesko Sr. said.
Sure.
You pointed out that the way that the sport is looking now, it's changing, and maybe you need to think about those GMs and stuff. And I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a fan of the Eagles, and the Eagles are not where they are now if not for their organizational health. Their organizational health is the reason that they're as successful as they are. Okay. And I've said for a while now, as this sport keeps changing, and that NIL comes in, you've got more like a free agent pool going. There's a reason they have GMs in the NFL. It's because when coaches try to be GMs, i.e. Andy Reid at the Eagles, it usually doesn't go well, right? And it ended his career in Philadelphia. Sometimes there's just too much that needs to be done to have one dude trying to be the center of it all. And what you need to have a group of really good quality people who are, not a lot of them, because then it starts to get messy, but a couple of really good dudes in the right positions make all the difference. And I think most schools are going to need to start doing that GM thing. USC, they stole their GM from over in Notre Dame, and they're trending in an upward direction. I know it's not like a huge change, right? But they are getting better. And I do believe that that's something all the schools in the sport will eventually have to kind of adjust to. But I could see Terry Smith, with the advantage of having a good GM like that, is that Terry Smith can be a coach's coach, because he doesn't have to do all the personnel stuff. He's got a GM who that's their focus. That's what they're good at.
Yep. Totally agree.
And if you wanted to salvage Franklin to
go ahead, Eric.
Work with NIL, and he probably does do that job pretty well, but I don't think he's an on the field coach. But that's what I was thinking.
James Franklin, I always said it, he was the Henry Ford of college football. Henry Ford had have you guys heard that before? Me say that?
No.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So James Franklin was the Henry Ford of college football. And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. In fact, I was supportive of it. Okay. Henry Ford was not good at building an engine or painting a car or producing tires or the supply chain of getting the car from the factory to the lot. He wasn't good at that. What he was good at is picking the right people to put in those positions. The problem is, if James Franklin Henry Ford was the real Henry Ford, Ford would not exist, because you can't be the Henry Ford of college football and then go and do all their jobs when you
Right.
that is not how it works.
Right.
You're not good at it, so don't go do it.
Right.
That's it. But at the same time, Henry Ford made overall adjustments, changes when he needed to. That's all you need to do, and he did not do that. He stepped in too much, and he didn't make the right changes. So, yeah, that's how it was. So yes, you need a GM. Our GM, I don't know how he was, but he was under Franklin, so he probably wasn't that good. But Andy Frank was he's gone. So, but yeah.
Yeah. I heard some chatter too about putting Terry in right as head coach. You know, I'm just going to say every head coach wasn't a head coach until they became a head coach. Joe Paterno was an assistant from 50 to 66, and then he became head coach of Penn State. And look what he did for Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
He coached till he was 84, 85. The last 12 years that Terry Smith was assistant is less important, I believe, than the 4 years that he played for Coach Paterno. The 4 years that he played for Coach Paterno carries a lot more weight than he's bringing that to the locker room, and the players are buying into it. And the only hiccup I've seen that for Coach Terry was the second half of the Ohio State game. Other than that, it's been an exciting 6 weeks, 5 games, almost as exciting as it was back in '86 when they won the national championship.
Yeah.
Personally, as a fan, I haven't been so excited about even looking forward to Rutgers and the bowl game.
Yep.
They're playing good ball.
Let him prove himself at Rutgers in the bowl game, and then go from there. Okay, Aaron and Thomas, if he wins Rutgers and goes to a bowl game and wins, what's your opinion on him then?
He's already proven in my book. I played against him. I played against Gateway 3 straight years and lost 35-0, 49-0, 45-0. Okay. The guy can coach. That's one. Okay. Number 2, and more importantly than him being a credible coach and knowing the game, he's a leader of men. He knows how to deal with adversity, which makes him even more of a leader of a man. Franklin crumbled under adversity. Terry Smith faces the biggest adversity every single day at Penn State, has done it. That is a mark of a true leader. A true leader isn't it isn't somebody who's just riding the tops of a national preseason poll. It's facing adversity and overcoming adversity and dominating through that. To me, he's already shown that.
Yeah.
Against top-notch competition, he's competed.
Mm-hmm.
Something that Franklin really didn't do.
Dude, Indiana, there's no shot we're even close against Indiana.
No. We're defeated.
And I'll say this. What, Dad?
I went in trying to win that game. I mean, I thought we could. I thought we could win it.
Oh, we could. We absolutely could have.
Yeah, absolutely. We literally we fumbled it at the end. See, that's one thing we could break that down. That
I will also say,
totally.
Mark, Indiana just went and won the game too. Credit to her.
That was a Heisman moment right there.
It was.
Heisman Trophy moment.
Fernando Mendoza made the throws he absolutely had to make with this much space for every throw, and every lucky rabbit's foot Indiana had, they burned, but they got it done. But I will say they got outplayed. Penn State outplayed them in that game.
That's why Indiana's ranked number 1 in the Big Ten over Ohio State. Yeah. They deserve it.
Exactly. Yeah. we won't get into that. But yes, they absolutely deserve to be number one. But here's the thing. Do you guys have college degree? I know me and Dad have college degrees. Do you guys have college degrees? Okay. Bachelor's,
Yeah.
Thomas?
I got associates in business.
All right.
The guy
So
was in the Navy.
Having a college degree, that's something no one can ever take away from you.
Mhm.
That gives you an advantage if you do it right. And again, we're all for Terry's. I want Terry Smith to be the head coach. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I just don't want to. That's like, yeah.
Do we need to come off the mountain of it's going to be okay if it's not? His merits will deserve him to never be fired from Penn State.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But-
Yeah, absolutely. But what Terry Smith has that no one else has in the hunt right now is a bachelor's degree from the school of Joe Paterno. You can't take that away from him. He was a player, like Dad said. He has 4 years under Joe Paterno. He graduated from the school of Joe Paterno. That separates him like a college degree does. So that's another thing that you have to consider. Like Dad said, that he played for 4 years under Joe.
Right.
And so did Dan Connor. So did Alan Zamitis. So did Calvin Lowry when he was there. These guys all graduated from the Joe Paterno program. Tim Shaw, he has ALS. Man, he's tough as nails. And first of all, he was tough as nails as a player. And he played for Joe Paterno. And he's battling ALS. I mean, he's fighting that harder than probably anybody possibly could. So just a side example, but that's something Terry Smith has and understands that no one else there, except for those guys that played for him, could possibly understand. So that's another factor about it. But if you guys want to say anything else about Terry, because me and Dad absolutely want him. Whether you two do or not, it's if you don't, it's fine. Aaron's kind of in the middle, I think. Thomas, you want Terry Smith. You're not a Penn State fan, but you still want Terry Smith.
I want both. I want them in a duality.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds scenario. It doesn't matter whose is which, because Chesney is going to be on top later on, and he's going to be Penn State and him are going to be better for it long term.
Bob Chesney, in a roundabout way, could be the next Brian Hartline for us. Brian Hartline is born and bred Ohio. The guy spent 4 years outside of Ohio, and that's when he was a Miami Dolphin. And I don't think he goes on vacation. He vacations at a beach in Ohio. He doesn't leave Ohio.
Yeah, on the lakes. Yeah.
On the lakes. He is born and bred Ohio. Bob Chesney is born and bred Pennsylvania. He is extremely successful at his job throughout his career. He is very good at what he does. So if he can come in, he can be mentored into our next Brian Hartline, the guy that will take over after Ryan Day. Ryan Day, he's a great coach. He has an insane winning percentage and a national title. So he can be the next guy. But I want to talk about Bob Chesney because I think that's, again, Sports Illustrated said a couple hours ago, coveted college football coach predicted to replace James Franklin at Penn State. That is Bob Chesney. Now, if SI is saying that, I have not followed SI recently, but SI is saying that. Okay, that's a pretty big news source. I think if they're saying that right now about him, there's probably a pretty good possibility that it's going to be him. So I want to talk about Bob Chesney, and if he is the head coach, how does it work with us here at Penn State? That's what I want to talk about next. What's the latest, Aaron?
So with Mr. Chesney, the odds are now up to 44%.
44%. And that it was 34.
The word is still, yeah, it keeps climbing. So, so the word is strongly in his favor. Yes. I will say, even when you guessed right, you just guessed right. So, yes, I guessed James Franklin would be a VT right away. It wasn't that much of a stretch. I just kind of guessed it Good for me. But the thing was with Bob Chesney, the things I like about him, he talks the talk and he seems to walk the walk. He has my concern with him, or the things I'm just unsure of with him, is that he has climbed very quickly through the ranks. Like he's kind of been rocketing up. And while he has been successful everywhere he goes, and there's no substitute for that, that is what it is. Sometimes when guys elevate really fast, you kind of don't get a feel for how they handle the dynamic change going from small school to bigger school to really big school in a hurry. There's a lot of dynamics that you're not going to have at James Madison. It's just different, right? So while I don't subscribe to those as like, this is oh man, this is going to tank him, he's not going to have success because of those. I do think there are forces at especially big schools. There are forces there who can make it hard for you to be successful if they really don't like you, right? And I can't see that happening with Bob Chesney at Penn State. I don't. He's a Pennsylvania guy. I know he's not a Penn State guy, but he's a Pennsylvania guy. He seems like the type of guy who would embrace Penn State's history, which would be, to me, you have to do that. You cannot be like Franklin was with this school. You have to come in and embrace the whole history of the school and really live and really dive into it. I think Chesney would be that guy, but I cannot tell you his personal opinions. I don't know what his list of the greatest places to coach would look like, right? Every coach is different. And so maybe Penn State's the number one school he ever wanted to be at. And his first thought when he gets here is put Joe Puss stuff back, and we're gonna start like this is a whole new program, and we're gonna build it back up with the history that it had being the foundation that we're gonna build off. If he's going to go that route, he has all the right stuff. He says all the right things. And based on his actions at places like James Madison and King and the other Holy Cross, the 5 years he worked at Holy Cross, I think he could be hugely successful. But it's going to come down to, and the other thing with him is he could be your long-term coach. I don't know what his thoughts are on the NFL. That's a whole different story. But as far as if PA is his guiding state and Penn State is the school at top of his list, if he's the guy, he could be your next Joe Paterno, right? He could be your next 40-year head coach. He's only 48 years old.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think it's more of a gamble than Terry Smith, ironically, because you just don't. He's been rocketing up really fast, and you can't say for sure what you're going to get long term. But Terry Smith, you know what you're getting is a hard-nosed football guy with a Penn State history. But Chesney is a guy, if I'm taking a gamble on a young guy that I want to be my long-term head coach, he's certainly, of all the candidates that are out there like that, he would be at the top of my list. So,
real quick, guys, for those of you guys that are listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. Please help us get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get there tonight. I don't know who all is in here, but if all of you subscribe, we'll be at 1,000 subs. So please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. Even the haters, help me out. Get us to 1,000. David K, thanks for the 149, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, Aaron, right now it sounds like it's between Bob Chesney and Dayball. Either way, I think Dayball's going to be on our staff, to be honest with you. His daughter goes to Penn State. So I think he's going to be on our staff, and I would fully welcome that.
I have a question for Thomas.
Yes.
You played against Terry Smith.
Yes.
Would you rather play for Terry Smith or for Bob Chesney?
Because I love what Terry Smith has done, I'd love to play for Terry Smith. Schematically right now, how they're running the ball, how they're old school, just, throwing guys open off of play action, and they're just dominating the line. They're utilizing their line the way they should have all along. Mm-hmm. All this RPO type of stuff, keeping the line on the line of scrimmage. like that got thrown away. Andy Kotelnicki's offense got thrown away, and Terry Smith was just like, guys, go upfield and just demolish people. Like, I want to be a part of that. If I'm a running back, I want to be a part of that offense. You know, and my defense loves me because I'm spending 8 minutes a drive. You know,
it's
like,
exciting times. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and I hope the next coach keeps that type of identity. They don't go to like spread HD or air raid.
Well, we don't need to like keep what Terry's doing. We just need to do something that works.
Right.
So Franklin never really did that. Again, I'm not saying any of this stuff to crap on Franklin. I'm moving on. I just make the Henry Ford comparison because I'm saying what we need next. And it's not someone like that. We know that, but I'm just giving examples. Something that works.
Yeah.
Bob Chesney could bring in, like, I don't know really many offensive names. Like, what's the Aaron? What's the West Coast offense? Isn't that like
the old school West Coast NFL style? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they call it pro style now, but
so that's like multiple receivers. Okay,
throw it out within 3 seconds. Yes,
he could bring that in, and if it works, it works. You know what I mean? But it just needs to make sense. Let's use common sense.
It got to fit your guys.
I said, simplify the offense. We have so much talent. Let's simplify the offense. Clearly, they did that, and we smoked Nebraska. So,
we did.
You know what I mean? They just have to do something that works. Common sense.
Yeah.
If you have 3-6-3 receivers that run a 4-3, you can probably throw the ball.
Exactly.
You can probably throw it deep.
Yep.
So
you need to adjust your play style to the talents that you have.
Exactly.
And that's why your playbook needs to have various sets in it and things so that you can kind of say, okay, this year we're probably going to use a lot more 11 and 12 personnel because we got really good blocking tight ends. So when we go big with a 12 or 13, we are going to be tough for anybody to stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I have really agile, like, man, my 2 guards are both so agile. I could have them run 40 yards across the field and put a block on for me. Cool. I'm going to use a lot of zone blocking scheme where I'm dropping guys out and just taking them and getting hat on a hat advantage on that edge. And that was kind of what they did at Nebraska. They moved those guards and those tackles a lot more, and it gave them hat advantage downfield. And once they blew the play open, there was big wide open holes through the defense. And the same, Nick Singleton, one cut back type guy. You give him a nice lane, he's gone, and that's what he did.
Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't have great vision, but that kid can run like really fast. You know.
Yeah, when Barry Sanders came out of school, that was one of the things people said about him. His vision wasn't great. He was a one cut guy, but he was so dang quick. If you got him a space this big, he was gone. Lightning bolt. Right. So.
Hey, I wanted to talk real quick about something. So moving back to Chesney for a second, his coaching staff from Holy Cross, when he moved to JMU, I just looked this up, 7 coordinators followed him from Holy Cross to JMU. Okay, including Dean Kennedy, quarterback's coach. Let's see here, trying to give you a little bit more names. Dean Kennedy being the big one that has coached their quarterback this year for Blake Barnett. And last year, Blake Barnett beat North Carolina. So JMU beat North Carolina last year, their first year there. That was their big signature win for JMU. If you want to watch that game, it was a shootout. But it seems like the monumental efforts to get to Holy Cross and then to JMU, he's retained a lot of his coaching staff, and you'll probably see that bunch of those names coming forward. I'll bring you links on the chat, but I'll be watching these and stuff, and I'll watch some Dayball film as well. And up and coming to maybe talk some more about these 2 guys. Seems like it's going to be
people
them.
are saying make Terry Smith the GM. As long
hard
as
to
he
do
can
that.
partake in coaching plans, I'm cool with that. But I don't know.
He would be set up well with a bowl win to then go out and be the ambassador with the amount of credibility then he's amounted to in getting Penn State right. One could argue that he can learn the NIL by just being an advisor ambassador to Penn State. He could be the biggest advocate.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's hard for somebody that's old school to get into the NIL politics.
Mhm.
But if you listen to his presser on Monday and him talking about taking Katron home for Thanksgiving and doing all this stuff, what a better ambassador for Penn State and them and their relationship and it developing into what it is to where like their family now. That's the type of somebody you want in that GM role. He just needs to grow into it.
All right. So I don't mean to cut you off, Aaron. So Aaron or Thomas, Aaron sent me something earlier. Franklin at Penn State win percentage versus opponent quality. 85% against losing teams, 45% against 500 teams. That is very bad.
It's terrible.
Franklin versus Chesney, win percentage by opponent quality. 85% versus losing teams compared to 80%. I'm sorry. Franklin, 85% against losing teams. Chesney is 80% against losing teams. Franklin was 45% against 500 plus teams. Chesney is 60%.
And that's at James Madison, not Penn State. That he's doing
Yes.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, is it that Assumption, Holy Cross, and JMU combined, or is it
Yeah, I
just
think that's
JMU?
Holy Cross and JMU. Yeah.
Okay.
So Aaron, are you saying that it's easier to do at JMU, or
It's harder because James Madison does not have a substantial talent advantage over teams in their area that managed to win over 500, right? Penn State has a substantial talent advantage for teams that managed to go 6-6, right? So
exactly
45% is not good for a team like Penn State. I'll be honest, I think that gets you fired from Louisville, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I believe I did those numbers for Charlie Strong at one point, and his were better than Franklin's, as I recall. When
Chris said the other night that he'd rather play at the University of Alaska as a quarterback than he would at Penn State under the previous coach. But even at the University of Alaska, I think he would still get fired for percentages like that. But you're right. It is harder because you're facing more similar talent. You can beat the living crap out of Maryland every year because, bro, they don't have anywhere near what we have. We are a powerhouse when it comes to talent most of the time. So
I'm assuming JMU's D1.
They are now.
They are now.
So real quick, Dad. JMU is number 20 right now.
Yeah,
that's insane.
The
only loss they have, and I believe Thomas told me this week or sometime this week. The only loss they have is at Louisville when they made a mistake. That is their only loss right now. Yeah. That guy knows how to win games.
Okay,
he's a real coach.
Yeah, and that's not SIG's players either.
Yes.
What were you saying, Dad?
What's that, Thomas?
I said that's not Signetti's players that stayed either. He took most of his players. I want to do a quick shout out to Brian Rhodes. This quote right on the board right now about Smash Mouth football in Penn State. However, that's so true. That's so true. That's your identity right now.
Mm-hmm.
Will it continue? Hopefully, if you recruit the right talent and you recruit to that. Yeah.
I'm just a little nervous. I mean, somewhere I read Penn State's in a Power 5, and then JMU's a Power 4. So I'm a little nervous about bringing,
They need group of 5 conferences and Power 4, group of 5.
Yeah.
So they're in the Sun Belt Conference. So they're in the group of 5.
They're in G5. So that's
I like, bring him in as a maybe OC and mentor him and get him used to the Penn State atmosphere. It's a lot It's leagues above JMU,
Oh, yeah.
I think. I mean, Penn State's just a dominating name. You know what I mean? And you mentor him into a head coach. I think it'd be a safer bet than just trying to throw him right into the fire. Terry's proved himself in the last 6 weeks and 5 games that he can handle the heat.
Well, it's not like James Franklin. He doesn't have to do it alone. You know?
Right. I love that marriage that Thomas is talking about between Chesney and Frank Terry, but
Right.
you can't make him a GM though, because I don't think GMs are going to go to be head coaches, right?
There's just too much responsibility.
Yeah.
Too much going on in NIL and in player development, and then scheming the weekly strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, Terry Smith is never going to buy another alcoholic drink in State College ever again. So that's already been established. But if he wins this week and then wins a bowl and then he steps aside and becomes an assistant, he's doing what Russell Wilson should have done. He should have stopped before he went. Maybe after the Broncos, he should have stopped. His career, his Hall of Fame ballot, I don't know, dude. Like, his Hall of Fame ballot is, like, I would say up in the air right now. Like, there's people that he stepped in, did his job. That's it. Now, I'm going to go back to maybe a higher position at Penn State than I was before, but I'm doing my job, and then I'm going to step aside for the next guy. I don't know. I mean, Russell Locke, okay. But
be interesting, really, really interesting.
But he could step in, and it could go bad. I mean, it's very possible it could go bad for him. You know?
Just don't sign the 10-year, $100 million contract. That's all.
No one should do that.
Ever.
My God. Franklin signed a 10-year, $85 million deal after they went, 5-7 or something like that?
Yep. Shout out to the Penn State legal team for putting a union mitigate in there.
Yep. Top lawyers in the country. But same with Brian Kelly. I mean, this guy has so many character issues, and you signed him to, it was 10 years, right?
10 years, $100 million. The payout was 70.
Brian Kelly. How long was he at LSU?
3 years.
4 years. 3 years.
3.5.
3.5. So the buyout's 65.
Aaron, you said earlier Marcus Freeman's first year was last year?
No.
Marcus Freeman. No, his first year, I believe, was 23.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought. So 10-year, $100 million. Brian Kelly is known as he's not a good person, but you sign him to a 10-year deal. I mean, that's signing a deal with the devil if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
So, like Bob Chesney, whoever it is, bring him in, give him, I say 4 years. No matter who it is, give him 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
That's all. Someone, Rage Bait said, how is Terry going to recruit with a 3-year contract? Well, he's going to call people and go visit them and do whatever recruiting does. That's what he's going to do.
It's more of a
3-year deal.
Contract. Okay.
It's a 3-year contract, man. Like, that doesn't mean they can't sign him for more. Yeah. It's just shows what you can do.
And then,
Joe Paterno coached guys to Penn State, and they didn't know if he was either going to retire, or literally, like, he was older. I mean, he could have, like, anything could have happened with him. He didn't even know if he would be there in 4 years, and he still got people to come to Penn State. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned 3 years, but 4 years, the freshmen, see what he can turn them into as seniors, and then reevaluate.
What he's done with Gronk alone is insane.
What he's done with everything is unbelievable.
Very impressive.
Aaron, you can read off those graphs if you want.
Oh, yeah. No, it was just some interesting information. So looking at them, I had Kalen DeBoer and Bob Chesney because they were both high high targets for Penn State. I never really bought the Kalen DeBoer one, but who knows, right? DeBoer was, he was winning about 90% of the time against lesser opponents. Opponents basically who are under 500. He's winning 90% of the time against those in his career. Now for him, he's up around 75% against opponents over 500 or better. So that's pretty darn good. I mean, it helps when, I know Alabama fans like to give that guy a hard time, but they would give anyone a hard time over there.
They're
but, you win five ranked games in a row. You're doing some things right.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. But
so his percentages across the board are better than both of them.
Yes. Yeah. And there's a reason. There's a reason people consider him a home run hire. He has earned that, But I just don't. I saw it as never really realistic. I always thought he was just taking our offer and using it to remind everyone at Alabama that he can leave if he wants to.
Yeah, but he was really set up. Like Chris Peterson was the head coach right before
He was. Yeah.
in Washington. Like he was Boise's head coach when they beat Oklahoma. Chris Peterson was like, and then he takes that. It's like Tomlin taking Cowher's players and winning the Super Bowl. Okay, and then you take Saban's team, and you have a decent season without your best offensive coordinator. So do I want DeBoer? No, because I think that he's not going to be able to win under adversity. It's going to be a very similar Franklin spiel with
he needs to stay
too much
somewhere
for the game
for a long period of time. And that's that's why they say, like, I always get
the data size isn't enough. The data size isn't enough.
Yeah, and that's what I get frustrated with media for the way they use data all the time, because even these numbers, these are just base numbers. You have to drill down into them to really understand what they mean. James Franklin's record, if you drill down into it, sounds good at face value. I think he was like 101-46 or something at Penn State. Yeah. But if you drill down into it, what you'll find is that less than 33%, or I think it's 33% of his games were against teams 500 or better at the end of the season. And if you drill down to that, he was like 17-33 against those teams. And if you drill down into that and say, well, what about only teams that are top 15 or better? If you take those out, he's still only 13-11 against teams that were just managed to win games. So
the interesting stat line that also should be shown is against top 10 talent, what was the point differential plus minus against top 10 talent?
It would be pretty close, I would think, because a lot of his games they didn't lose by a lot. But what I did find interesting was if you put the tape to it, one thing that always stood out to me is coaches who were really good field coaches. Those were the ones that tended to really take the screws to Penn State when Franklin was out there. You look at Jim Harbaugh, once his talent was up at Michigan, he didn't have those 3-point games that we were having with Ohio State. He would just kind of step on us. And
what about Michigan State? They blew us out a few times too.
Michigan State, when they were at the peak, they had some good coaching there at the time too. Good field coaching. If you have the same talent level and you put a good field coach against a bad one, it's going to show pretty quick. And even then, like guys like Manny Diaz, they can only bail you out so much. So
what do you mean by field coach, Aaron?
Field coach meaning just guys who are, their game day prep is excellent. Their players come ready to play, and their plan and their adjustments during the game are top notch. I consider that to be a good game or a field coach to me, is a guy who, he's not the coordinator, so I'll judge the coordinators differently on the actual play calling. But in terms of how ready is his team to play, when they show up, how is the game plan? And when the game plan goes south, which it always does, how do they adjust and how well do they adjust when the other team starts changing the way they punch you? And Franklin was one of the only coaches I've seen at a top 15 program where he got, in my opinion, he got out-coached almost every game. It was pretty rare to see him out-coach the other guys. So that was
on a scale of 1 to 10, what would he be?
Oh, I'm sorry.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would Franklin be?
Well, I used to say this because I know a lot of media say, like, isn't he a top 20, top 10 head coach? And I go, sure. If you talk about his administrative management was probably top 10 in the sport. But if you were asking me, like, where would I have him on the field coaches? 90th, like somewhere in the 90%, like 90% of coaches would be better than him in the sport right now.
I mean,
literally,
high school head coaches could step in and do better than him.
Well, I would say the
Terry?
Eagles coordinators
What's
from
that,
2023 would be worse than him still.
Like Terry Smith.
Yeah, like Terry Smith, high school
Well,
coach.
Terry Smith would definitely be better than them. But yeah.
Would you say that he's a? I'm sorry. Would you say that he's a an on-field coach?
Terry Smith, yeah, he comes off to me as a game day coach. He is a guy who he's very good at getting his players ready. They make good adjustments on the field. You have to remember, we don't have much of a sample size with Terry yet, so these are just early observations. But you have to remember those first couple of games he played in, he's picking up someone else's stuff and trying to work with it, right? So you saw early changes, but then those changes got more and more consistent. They kept trending north as each game goes on. He was getting better and better. So the indicators I have from him in that really small sample size is that he's a very good game day coach.
Yeah. I want to point this out too. Like in the Iowa game, they kept showing him up close. It looked like he had tears in his eyes.
He looks like that a lot. I don't know if he just has maybe.
I don't know if he has a gland issue or something, but I think he's yelling so much and he's so fired up. He's literally almost crying. That's how fired up he is. Because he looked like that. He looked like that against Iowa, Ohio State. This week, he really looked in the zone. I mean, he just looks
he was really
insanely focused. And he had his Joe pin on, and at Michigan State, he looked super focused. Now, I'm going to give you an example of that look, which I think it's the same look. Back in 1999, when we literally probably could have won the national title, but we lost the last 3 games. The opening game against Arizona, Rob Oshinsky, a friend of mine, he's a trainer. I've had him on this show. Rob Oshinsky, he's a longtime trainer, played college football for some time, and then he got hurt. He was a coach at that time at Penn State. Okay, he was an assistant coach. So against Arizona, his job before they went out for kickoff, kick return, whatever, was to go down the line and pump the guys up.
Hype guy.
So he's going down the line. He gets to Justin Kirpakis, and he said Justin Kirpakis was standing there like Frankenstein. His hands were shaking, his head was shaking, and he had tears rolling out of his eyes, and he was just staring into the field. He was so fired up. Mm-hmm. He was so ready to just go kill someone. Mm-hmm. Terry Smith is the same way. He's so focused, and he loves Penn State. He loves football. So whether or not he's the head coach, as long as he's there, because I don't think Franklin properly used him.
No.
As long as he's there, I think that makes a difference. So, there's a lot that everyone can learn, whether they come in as a new coach or they're current or whatever. There is a lot you can learn from James Franklin.
Right.
Oh, sure.
So
yeah, Terry sitting in the shadows for the last 12 years. Light bulbs.
He literally.
On. This is the way I would do it if I was good.
Yep.
He must.
And he's doing it. What's that?
Would you say you would do what?
Coach Terry's been sitting in the shadows for the last 12 years, thinking, if I'm coach, this is the way I would do it. And now he's has a chance to do it, and he's doing it.
For a bald guy, his hair's on fire for this opportunity.
Yeah. Well, he, like I said, he must not have listened to him. Like, he must have used him very little. I think he literally said, go, and he said this, I stayed in my lane. I think he said, go coach corners, and that's it. Even though clearly he could have used some help. So I don't know, but that energy that I just said is extremely infectious. And I think that'll pay dividends.
And he's not a quitter. I think that's a big thing. Not being a quitter does a lot for you in life. I remember
quitting is not an option under me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're an Army guy or Mark Sr., you're from the old times. My first job in the Army, I was a combat arms guy, and I showed up in my very first duty station. My platoon sergeant takes me outside, and he makes me do push-ups and run down the hill, do push-ups, run back up the hill, do push-ups, run back down the hill. And I did that until I threw up about 4 times, and I was just doing this and crawling on the ground because I couldn't move anymore. And he comes walking over to me. He says, "Do you know why I made you do that?" I said, I couldn't think at that point, so I don't even know if I said anything legible as an answer. And he says, "Because I wanted to see if you quit. Would you quit on me, or would you go until you were basically about to die? And now I know I can count on you."
Mm-hmm.
So when things get bad, I know that you're a guy who doesn't quit. It makes a huge, huge difference because everyone around you can trust you better when they know this guy never walks away.
Mm.
So I know my left flank, my left flank, my right flank, they're good, man, because the guys next to me, they don't quit. And it changes the mentality in a whole building, really. When you have that, when that's the norm, just there is no quit. So,
It's not
and
an
I see
option.
that with her.
Yeah, he's there now.
I admire his drive.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to talk about the rivalry weekend?
Sure.
You guys good on time?
Oh, yeah.
Can I go back to Aaron? And what was those 4 criteria you said as the field coach? That's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Very interesting.
You could have a whole topic podcast about that.
Dad forgot 12 years ago. It's been a long time since Dad's seen that, so he forgot.
Oh,
game
man.
time adjustments, prep for the game. What was the other 2?
Prep for the game time adjustments, and having the players ready. So prep. So when they get to the field, what state are the players in mentally? Are they ready to play the game? And then the other thing I look for is controlling the play calling and things like that. It's a lot harder to see that from footage. But how is he handling the juggling effect? Does he still handle the clock really well, right? Or is he just in space doing something else when, there's 1 minute and 20 left and there should have been a timeout called. Why is nobody paying attention, right? So coaches who are really good on-field coaches, they can juggle all of that, and they're successful because they're really decisive guys. They even if they're wrong, they'll decisively be wrong. And I used to say, like in the military, we used to say sometimes it's better to be decisively wrong than to have a problem making the decision and just sit there and waste time, right? Because then the decision gets made for you by the situation, as opposed to you making the decision. And hey, if it goes bad, guess what? You've got such good people that you've worked with together. You'll make it work anyway. So, and
coaching is coaching, man. That like you just said, that you're like after Notre Dame last year. Brett was saying how we didn't have receivers, and that's true. Like we really didn't. But I said it was an excuse. We have receivers this year, and it went way worse. So apparently that didn't help. But a real coach, it doesn't matter who you have. Like you just said, it doesn't matter who you have, man. Joe Paterno could walk into Walmart, get 22 guys, and go compete for a Big Ten title. James Franklin could have 7 Hall of Famers, and he would still lose to Ohio State. So there's a difference.
They're second guessing themselves, just like Aaron said. He's just second guessing the decision every time. Franklin is, and that's what happens. Wanted to say something on behalf of you talking about Terry as a on-field guy. I think what I want to see from Terry, and I've only seen him battling back against one team, and that was Indiana when he was battling back from a deficit in the fourth quarter. I want to see his fourth quarter scoring going up as a interim head coach versus Rutgers and in a bowl game. Why I'd like to see that is that's the mark of a true, credible, on the field coach is that at the end you finish strong. And honestly, that'd be the biggest smack in the face to James Franklin, because every time he's been like, finish strong. Like, yeah, it was all words, but Terry has a chance within the the last two games, definitely Rutgers, to just completely score like 28 points in the fourth quarter if he wants to.
Mhm.
And I want to
Yep.
see that for him. That's gonna win over so many people.
When was
And
the
the
last
bowl game.
time we truly saw, besides like Nevada, honestly, we came out in the second half and went down and scored? It was against Nebraska, man. Like that was such a statement.
Mhm.
Yeah, we shut that fourth quarter down. It was like
Penn State has
clock was
not
gone.
done that consistently.
And that was, for me, that was in the book
Yeah.
of, is he good at adjustments? Can the staff make adjustments well under him? Because they came out in that second half knowing what the new adjustments needed to be. They had a plan. They executed the plan, and it worked. And they showed good execution the whole way through that plan.
And they didn't just run the ball, man. You know, they threw the ball. Like they did everything, you know?
Yeah.
So, guys, we're 20 subs away from 1,000. Please help us get there. Please.
And they interviewed
So
Terry
close.
right before halftime, and he said something like, the first half is over. We're playing the second half now. His
That's right.
mentality is unbelievable.
And what do? They go down the field, they get the ball and they march down the field and score. Right?
Yep.
So
Yeah, I mean, that's
what
what I talk about, the energy. Like his energy,
know.
I think he's so focused and fired up. That's why he looks like his eyes are wet or teary. I don't know.
Yeah, I also wonder if he just has allergies like I do this time of year.
But he's gonna say, "Yeah, I'm just fired up," but in reality, he's allergic to flowers or something.
Could be the turf.
He's allergic to the lion.
he's allergic to corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lion's running around too much. But anything else about this?
Somebody said, let's pray that they announce it on Sunday, but I say give Terry the next game and a bowl game and then sleep on it.
If they announce they have 15-day window for those transfers to start going to Virginia Tech or wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
All right.
But I tell you what, it rides so much on that Rutgers win to send off the regular season. Got to be a win.
All right, Dad. They hire Bob Chesney Sunday. Terry Smith is not the head coach, and we don't know what's going to happen with Terry Smith. How are you going to feel?
Yeah, like I think Thomas said about coming down off the mountain or something, but just hats off to Terry, no matter what happens. These last 6 weeks, 5 games have been the most exciting games I've witnessed for years. And it brings me back to, of course, 86, 12-0 national champions. It's just an exciting atmosphere. So no matter what happens, hats off. Thank you, Terry.
Yep.
Love you. Thanks for bringing Penn State back. After Joe left, pretty much Penn State football died, and Terry brought it back to life, and I appreciate that. I appreciate him, his effort, and all the hard work and time he's put into bringing it back. Thank you. No matter what happens.
Yeah.
Well said.
You're the best.
and like I mentioned the other night, the reel I made between Franklin and Terry. I bring that up because I don't know. I don't know exactly how it works, the algorithm, whatever. I don't know, but a lot of people. So that has 248,000 views and
Wow.
13,000 likes. Okay, so I think a lot of that's almost 3 Beaver Stadiums of views. Okay, yeah. I think a lot of that is Penn State people were very happy, and it was shared like over 1,000 times. So that's a lot of Penn State people that saw that, probably watched it multiple times. The morale of everyone is way better, and that's because of what Terry Smith is doing. And that morale can keep going. It can keep going. Whether it's Bob Chesney, whoever comes in, they can keep that going. But Terry is going to have to be like involved in some way. I hope that, because more than anything, we're going to, like, let's say they bring in a head coach, like, all right, this is our head coach, here's his presser. Terry Smith is also going to have a presser, so we all know what he's doing. Like, they're going to have to, I hope that they mesh that very well. Like, this is what Bob's doing. Thank you, Terry. This is what he's doing now. You know, because the fan base, they can totally screw it up because the fan base is so behind Terry Smith right now. You know what I mean?
Pat Kraft's going to definitely have to come out, like you're saying, and here's Terry Smith, here's our interim, here's our new, this is how it's going to look, the triangle, or it's going to be Bob Chesney moving forward, Terry Smith is not with the program, something. It has to be definitive. For it to be in the gray is going to throw everybody off course. You need to be concise. You need to be direct with it. It needs to be a full message going forward with no gray.
Yeah, someone just said DJ 5000. Maybe Terry was the palate cleanser. The nostalgia has been wonderful. Now a new coach, in a new direction. As I want him to be involved.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, we got to stick together and support whoever comes in. By the way, if my computer resets, just keep talking and I'll come back on. I don't know if it will, but sometimes it does. You guys know that. I want Terry and Chesney, so I want Terry and Chesney. So
Is
GM,
that no
then,
GM, or there must
No
be
GM. Yeah.
Somebody's got to take care of the NIL.
yeah, someone has to.
And it won't be Kraft, correct? Everybody's like, nope, not Kraft is not going to be the GM. Okay.
No, he's not. He's not James Franklin. He's not going to try to be the AD, the GM, the
Well,
head
and I
coach.
think that's the issue. It's not that he couldn't do it necessarily, Thomas. I don't think. I think he could do it. It's just he shouldn't be trying to do that and be the AD at Penn State at the same time.
That would be like a Jerry Jones. That would be like it's way too much. Yeah.
Yeah, too much. Because you have to remember, Penn State has a lot of very elite sports programs.
Wrestling.
And he has responsibility for all of those programs too.
Exactly.
Our hockey team is rocketing up right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. He's got to be responsible to them to keep doing a good job for them as well. So
everybody, the reason Bill Belichick was so good at what he does, so good at what he did, and that's what he did. That's long gone. He's cooked now, but
yeah, he's a little spin.
everybody do your effing job. That's what he said. Do your effing job.
Dictatorship.
That's what everyone needs to do. GM does his job. Terry Smith does his job. Head coach does his job, whoever it is. Pat Kraft does his job. That doesn't mean Pat Kraft can't be on the sideline. He's there to support his guys. You know, that I love seeing him on the sideline. He looks like he's going to go out and tackle an Ohio State kid. You know, so like Ohio State in 23, he was like right there. And I think Kajana Carter was there at that time too. I think Kajana was at that. I remember in 08 when they played Ohio State, Kajana Carter was right there on the sideline when Pat Devlin put that QB sneak in. 18 away, guys. Keep going up. Almost 1,000. Get us to it.
I'd like to see the OC and the DC on the sideline, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another great point. Yes.
OC and DC on the sideline. I mean, Manny Diaz, man, that was exciting to watch him on the.
Yeah.
Someone should have been a Halloween costume of Jim Knowles talking to a walkie-talkie up in a booth. That would have been a great Halloween costume. Like, dude, what's he doing?
Yeah, that's getting more and more common now.
People during games, people always ask me, what's he doing? Who's he talking to? And I'm like, I think he's talking to the kid's helmet, right?
Yeah, I believe they do have a proper helmet mic now for that.
But
those
walkie-talkie,
those cut out so bad. So the walkie-talkie is way better of a comms for that. Yeah,
he still yells at the thing like crazy.
So wait, Thomas, you're saying a walkie-talkie to the kid's helmet would be better?
No, I'm saying him using the walkie-talkie instead of the mic.
Yeah,
is a better form of communication downfield.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only reason why he's using it is because like he wants secure comms.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That makes, I mean, the guy just won a national title, so he knows a thing or two about
Oh, sure.
a thing or two. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
either way, I think he should be on the sideline. Coordinator should be on the sideline. Manny Diaz was literally like,
Another
I mean,
player.
if he would have put pads on, you wouldn't have ever known that he was a coach. You know what I mean?
So Knowles is
Wait.
more. Yeah. So I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
No, you good.
I wanted to say like Knowles is more of your secondary defensive coordinator. He's more worried about controlling the skies, meaning the passes, and so he needs to be up in the sky. But Diaz was more of your front seven. He was the blitzer. He was your stunts. He was the crawler package. You need to rile up your guys on the sideline. So that's why Diaz worked down there. But the meshing of two, I mean, you can't get both. I mean, it comes from a position specific background. And there's benefits of both. There's pluses and minuses of both. But I mean, to pick your poison. I mean, that's all. I just wanted to raise awareness for it.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I gotta get going. It's
All right,
10 for me, so I got some work to do. But thanks for having me on, and
Yeah, no
happy
problem, guys.
Thanksgiving to everybody here and in chat.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good Thanksgiving, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
have a
happy
good rivalry
Thanksgiving.
weekend. So
Yeah, it should be fun, man. Be a good weekend for football.
yep,
Thanks for
absolutely.
the insight.
Absolutely.
All right, take care, guys.
Okay. Good night.
See you, bud. All right, so you guys want to talk rivalry weekend a little bit?
Sure.
All right. Again, last year literally had like multiple felonies after every game, so this will be another fun weekend. Especially Ohio State, Michigan. That was the game that people were like, holy moly, that's all messed up. That was the game where they took the Michigan flag, planted it on the Ohio State field.
Mhm.
I mean, it got ugly.
Well, they're now tied at the Buckeyes. Their record's like 22-22-6 at the Buckeyes. So that's why it meant something, because the next one in Columbus, if they win, they own them at their field.
I want Ohio State. I want Michigan to win. I never want Ohio State to win. So I'm rooting for Michigan, and it's at Michigan. Man, again, this is why Gus was originally on here, is because last year his world famous Ohio State Buckeyes got beat by the Michigan at home, and he made an appearance, and he comes back on every once in a while. But all right, so we got Ole Miss, Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl. That's that's an interesting game. No, is that the Egg? Yeah, that's the Egg Bowl, right? Lane Kiffin, what's Lane Kiffin doing? Is he going to LSU or what?
Saw a post today that he bought a house in Baton Rouge.
So he's going to LSU. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is he's so distracted, and okay, is he going to be able to focus on this game?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a really good wide receiver at Mississippi State, and he can run like a 4.25 40. He can throw the top off the defense. So, I mean, they're going to compete. It's going to be close.
Brian Kelly was fired today without cause, so he's getting his buyout officially.
Okay.
Nebraska, Iowa. That's not like most of these are rivalries, but Nebraska, Iowa, that should be an interesting game.
It's a good matchup.
The next big one is Georgia Tech. That's a bitter rivalry. That's going to be a good game, man, because Georgia Tech still doing pretty good, and they're at home against Georgia. Georgia is a very well coached team. So is Georgia Tech, but Kirby Smart's on another level, and they could be upset. I mean, they have been scraping by several times this year.
Mm-hmm.
Texas. Well, I'm sorry, not Texas. What they lost to Alabama, and then what was the other game that there's been a few games, right, Thomas, where they've barely squeaked by?
Yeah.
Who's that again?
Georgia.
Last week.
So Georgia earlier on in the season, yes, they were fighting. They barely beat Tennessee, if you remember earlier in the season. But they've caught off fire so much. This game is a litmus test for the ACC. If Georgia Tech can match up with Georgia, then I mean that proves two things. That proves the game at Pitt. How good is Pitt? How good is Notre Dame then? Because Notre Dame beat Pitt. So it's a good litmus gauge for ACC, Notre Dame, and Georgia, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So really pay attention to that game. Really pay attention to Gunnar Stockton running the ball. And then the linebacker is Efford, I think his name is, for Georgia Tech. He'll probably be a draft pick in the later rounds. Good linebacker, solid linebacker. But are they attacking or are they catching the tackles? They're catching the tackles. It's going to be a long day for Georgia Tech. But should be a good one. Should be a good, hard-hitting football game. That game, what time is that game?
3:30.
3:30.
Oh, man, there's so many good games going on this week.
A&M, Texas, another rivalry.
Arch Manning might have the game of his life.
And these are all on Friday. That's what's crazy. These are all on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas, give your thoughts on that.
I mean, Texas A&M is due for a tight game. They can score at will, but the thing is that Marcel Reed has had the case of the oops a couple of times during the season.
Right.
And to where they get back into games that they should have put away. Arch Manning and Texas just blew out Florida. They look like they're in prime position to go up against Texas A&M in what could be Texas A&M falling out of the rankings a little bit. Not out of the playoff, just down the slope with this really bad loss. I mean, I don't think Texas is a good football team. I thought their team last year was great. They had really good wide receivers, but you could see how great their wide receivers were because Arch Manning this year has just heavily struggled. But this is the game that Sark has circled, and this is the game that it's going to be a close one too.
Yeah, for Texas, it's difference between a good bowl and a so what bowl. Dad, you can hop in whenever you want if you want to say anything.
So if Texas beats Texas A&M, will they go to the top 12?
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
No?
because Thomas, do you know the college football playoff structure?
So basically what I think of the structure is that the 12 teams go in, right? And this year, it's not the conference championships to get the first 4 buys. So it's the top 12 teams altogether. So Texas could get in there if they beat a number 3 Texas A&M, but they already have 3 losses. Or do they have 4?
Here's the thing. There's like the top 10, and then there's like a what's it called? An automatic bid or something. So that's why you see Memphis or
a group of 5 bid. So you're gonna see like kind of it didn't happen last year, but think if SMU won the American last year, they would have been Boise State. Boise State was a group of 5 that came in, and they only had 1 year. They only have 1 loss. So that's your example.
Is it top 12, no matter what?
It's top 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in the standings. It's top 12, like at the end of the year final rankings.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because they have the selection process. The bowl season happens, but then it's almost like that group of 5 just jumps in there. It's weird. It's a weird look.
This is what it is right now. Okay. Ohio State plays Michigan. Indiana plays. Who do they play?
Don't know.
Indiana play 11.
Indiana. Well, yeah, but it's Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Bama. By the way, Bama is one of the most deserving teams. I think they'll win the SEC, but we'll see. They're going to play Georgia, right?
It's going to be Georgia, and it's going to be Georgia and A&M in the championship.
Oh, true. Yep.
And then you have Bama and Ole Miss, and then you have Oklahoma, which is weird because Oklahoma beat Bama. Bama has a better record. So
I'm
weird.
sorry. Yes, I forgot that Bama. Yep. Okay. So
yeah,
then
parity, man.
Is this like recent?
It looks
No,
pretty
that
good.
is not recent.
No,
I'm sorry.
You're 2 weeks
Where
off.
where is the current freaking bracket? Holy moly! Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Well, it's close.
Please do. I want to talk about Vanderbilt for a second. Vanderbilt plays Texas. Don't know if it's Friday or Saturday, and they're right on the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
AP poll had them in, but college football poll had Miami in.
Where's Miami now? 13?
Miami, no, they're at 12. They should be at 12.
They'll make it in. Wow.
Who? Miami?
And they play Pitt, and that's going to be a good game because they have to play Pitt at Pitt, and Miami hates the cold.
All right, so this is the current bracket right here, gentlemen.
Okay.
Gus, get out of the way. Sorry, Gus's head is in the way. All right, so Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Georgia, and then you've got five Texas Tech versus Tulane. Now Tulane, that's the thing. Tulane is not 12. So how does that work, man? How does that work? It's not the top 12. Tulane is number 24. See that, Dad?
It's like I said, they hop in because they become the conference champion of the largest group of 5 program.
And
so they get an automatic qualifying bid, much like Boise State last year. The highest ranking group of 5 conference champion gets an automatic qualifying bid.
Okay.
So that's,
Wow.
I mean, okay. Now, what about BYU at 11 and Miami 12? How does that work?
See, but BYU is not going to be in there because they're playing Texas A&M or Texas Tech in the conference championship. So one of them's going to get booted out, even if it's close. Okay. I mean, you might have a situation where, like last year, Clemson played SMU and then played real tight, and they were close in the standings, and they kept both of them in. They might do that, but I mean, I don't think BYU's a playoff caliber team. I just don't. I think they're a good team. They're right outside that. They're in the 14 through 16 rank, in my opinion. They can run the ball. The quarterback's pretty decent, and they play good defense. But the Big 12 isn't the Big 12 of old. They don't. It's Big 12 and ACC, when they match up in bowls, I think the ACC is actually going to be better than the Big 12.
So Ohio State plays Michigan. Indiana plays
Wisconsin?
We talked about experience earlier. Kirk Cignetti, Big Ten title game and or the playoff. How's he going to do? We'll see. But
I think Indiana plays Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken.
Purdue.
That's right. That's our big
Georgia
rival.
Plays Georgia Tech. A&M plays Texas. Notre Dame. Dad, do you have can you pull up the college football schedule?
Yeah.
Or Thomas, whoever. Maybe I can get it here.
You just had it up, didn't you?
Yes, and I have it back up.
Arizona State. That's a wash.
Notre Dame plays Stanford. That's a rivalry, right?
Yes, it is. But Stanford, this is Frank Reich's last game for them because he was on that 1-year only contract. And who's the guy for him? Andrew Luck is their GM, and they're going to be hiring somebody probably as soon as Sunday. And I just don't see him. I just don't see him doing it. They beat Florida State but they ain't gonna beat Notre Dame.
Alabama plays
Mm, yeah.
Auburn. UCLA plays USC. Notre Dame plays. Who does Notre Dame play?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
That's right.
Stanford.
Notre Dame.
You just said Stanford.
I'm
That's
sorry, yeah,
Stanford.
Notre Dame.
That's Stanford.
Stanford, and then okay, Texas Tech.
Texas
Who's
Tech.
Who's Texas Tech play? We just said it, didn't we? West Virginia. All right.
Well, that'd be something if West Virginia could pull that off.
Oregon.
At West Virginia. Saturday
Yep.
at noon.
Is it?
Oregon,
West Virginia.
Oregon at Washington. Jed Fish at home. We'll see.
That might be his last game there.
Yeah. Ole Miss, they play the Egg Bowl.
You said the game's at Washington?
Yes.
Oregon
They
State at Washington.
They are very good at Washington.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Oh, LSU at Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Notre Dame. And then Bama plays Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Miami plays
Pitt.
Pitt. No, not Pitt.
They
played
do.
Pitt last.
They play Pitt at Pitt. Georgia Tech played Pitt last week.
Bro, wait.
Miami at Pitt. 12:00 Saturday.
Notre Dame just played Pitt. Okay, so yep, you're right. Yep. Miami,
Pitt.
Pitt, and then Tulane
And
again.
Charlotte.
G5.
Charlotte. Yep.
Charlotte. So
At home.
who in the G5? Who possibly could get in over Tulane?
Vanderbilt. I want Vanderbilt in. They beat Tennessee. They're probably going in there too.
But so
Group of 5 though.
Yeah, like G5 has to get in, right? Or no?
They get an automatic qualifier. Like I said, the highest ranking group of 5. They
So
also
who
call it
else
like a
in the G5?
mid-major. They call it a mid-major conference sometimes. Well, it was like North Texas, them. It's all out of the American, really. JMU's there too. They're 10-1. So if Tulane loses, JMU wins out. They might be the highest. Do you have the top 25 poll? College football poll?
Yeah, right here. That's it, right there.
Right there?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Where is JMU?
JMU is they were 20. Maybe is that up to date? When is this? Yeah, that was College Football 25 bracket challenge.
Yeah, I don't see them.
Or is it the College Football playoff rankings?
Yes, it is. It's the College Football Playoff top 25. Or we can just look at the American standings.
Yeah, JMU. Wait, where is JMU? I thought they were 20. Are they not?
They're not on there. Who mentioned they were 20?
Yeah,
That's
Thomas, where did
okay.
I see that?
I'm gonna
I said
look
that.
something up real quick. It might be an AP poll. Most people right now, like you'll see the AP poll and you'll see the the rankings and stuff. People get confused because those rankings for college football start coming out like November 5th. So yeah, that's the AP, isn't it?
It's AP top 25. They're 20. Yeah,
they're 20 in the AP. AP doesn't matter at all once the poll comes out. This could just be thrown out and tossed in the trash.
JMU is still ranked. That's the point. They're still ranked.
Yeah, they're around. They're probably like 26 in the college football playoff poll. If they would go to 30, they would have that.
Michigan is 15. Goodness gracious.
Well, and that's the thing. There's a good chance that Michigan, if you have Vanderbilt losing and you have somebody like an LSU beating an Oklahoma, and you have Michigan beating Ohio State, Michigan could get themselves in.
Yeah.
So
And that'd be scary.
If Ohio State loses, which we all hope happens, it's going to be Oregon and Indiana. But you're not an Ohio State fan, are you?
I want Day to succeed, just because he was an extension of Meyer. I thought Day is a very good leader of men in the program. Okay, and I wish him nothing but the best. And I have family that's from Hilliard, Ohio, so I have that. Plus, Terrell Pryor was my head coach's. He coached Terrell Pryor to a state championship. Jeanette. I have ties, but I couldn't stand Franklin. I'll be honest with you. I don't think anybody could. I couldn't watch a game. Okay, and naturally gravitated to Ohio State and what they do. I hate Bama. I despise what Jim Harbaugh did. So we can reason a little bit on some stuff. I can be a little bit of a fan of Ohio State and what they've done. I appreciate what they've done for Big
I respect
Ten.
Ohio State. I respect.
Yeah.
I have all the respect in the world for Ohio State. I just hate them. But yeah. But yeah, the Oklahoma could lose. Michigan could win. Washington,
they're at home, and what is the record at home against ranked opponents? It's probably pretty high. I would imagine that Washington has beaten Oregon, right? Because they're playing Oregon at home,
right?
Traditionally, so this is probably a pretty tough game for them. Wrapping up the season to go to chilly Washington and try to. This is a trap game for Oregon. If they're playing Washington at Washington, they are eyeing up the Big Ten championship. Oregon is. So it's something to watch. It might be a close game.
Now that's Washington. That's a Big Ten, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And then you got Georgia Tech. Like Georgia could be upset.
Yeah. Whoever shows up.
I'm going to say this right now. Within the first 5 plays of the game, you're going to find out if Georgia's offensive line is just going to completely dominate that game.
Okay.
That's going to tell you everything. As long as Gunnar Stockton doesn't throw the game away with turnovers, Georgia's rolling out there at least 2 touchdown favorite. I mean, granted, Haynes King is one hell of a quarterback, and he will fight back like he did against Pitt, like he's done his whole entire stint at Georgia Tech.
Right.
But they just don't have enough they don't have enough wide receiver talent to go with the running game that they have. Their defense is great, the running game's great, but they're lacking in their receivers. And offensive defensive lines, they're like a B+. Georgia's is like an A+. Okay? So when you put all that together in some formulated fashion, you know that Georgia's going to come on top. Plus, where's that game at? Is that in Georgia?
Yeah, at Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Oh, is it Georgia Tech? It's in Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, it's an automatic check in the box for me if it's in Georgia.
It's Mercedes-Benz, huh?
Yeah.
Is it?
Mercedes-Benz.
You said Atlanta.
Stadium. Yep.
Still Georgia. That's me. That's on me. Like, Georgia is going. It's Georgia and Notre Dame that are scary right now in the playoff.
So, being that it's in Mercedes-Benz, they must do that every year, huh?
I think it's been home split, but I think now because the NIL and everything, they want to do it up like a neutral site game. Mercedes-Benz is just that,
Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Split the difference. I mean, they're making bank on that game.
What the heck? Yeah, for sure. I don't know why it's on the side right now, but
did I see we did Holy War already, right?
Who?
Utah and BYU.
No, we didn't talk about that. It's UCF and BYU.
Okay, so Holy War already happened. I'm guessing BYU won against that game. Their only loss has come to Texas Tech. UCF.
Who'd you play for again?
I played for Seton Hill in Greensburg.
High school?
Oh, high school, Grand Latrobe.
Okay. So, give me a second here. Who was your rival?
Our rival was Derry Trojans.
Okay. Yep, Derry. Okay. So Greg Garrity Jr., friend of the show, he played for North Allegheny.
That was my we lost to them first round of the playoffs my senior year.
So Greg Garrity graduated in, I think, 2013.
Okay.
No, 2012.
Okay.
So he went to Northern Allegheny, but did you play your rival at the end of the year?
We played them first game of the season.
All right.
Always.
So that's what Tyrone Bishop Guilfoyle does here. Okay. You play your rival the first game of the year. We used to play Bellefonte the last game of the year every year. That's the oldest football rivalry in Pennsylvania, Bellefonte and Bald Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bald Eagle, you would hear of them for wrestling.
Right.
But so I don't understand the rivalry games being played not at the end. Like, I don't get it. They don't do it anymore. I don't,
Are you talking about high school or are you talking about some of these college games now?
Everywhere. Utah, BYU played at the end of the year. It's the Battle of the Mormons,
Yeah, and I think it's more because of the scheduling conflicts of them now just entering, like BYU within the last 2 years just entered the conference, right? But I also think, like, if either team is really, really good, which both of them are, that could be the de facto game right before the championship game. And I think the administrators don't want them to go from the rivalry game right to the championship game and be kind of spent. It's smart, but it sucks as fans.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
You'd much rather watch the rivalry at the end of the year. I mean, I remember playing Bellefonte at the end of the year. And you never forget it, man. Like, you never forget losing to your rival. We lost my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
You never forget it, and that's your last game. So that's another reason. You lose your rival at the last game. I mean, it traumatizes you for life. So make it the last game. You know?
I mean, I'll talk to you about Derry and Latrobe. Both of us, we were playing in Quad A at the time. They're playing in Triple A at the time. None of us, they went on like a 30-game losing streak. Right. And we were like 2-8 every single year. Our team, we played up to our competition because we had like a juvenile detention center that was like a Delphi. It was paired with all of the guys. It went against our men, like our numbers for boys sports. So that put us in Quad A, but if you take those numbers out, they never played. But because of those numbers, we were in Quad A. We should have been in like Double A, Triple A with them, and we should have been contending. But here we are playing against like Pittsburgh Central Catholic, who recruits.
Pittsburgh Central Catholic is literally like, that's a buzzsaw. I mean,
I played against Tino Sinceri at Pitt. I played against Andrew Taglianetti, who's South. Those types of guys. We played on Carnegie Mellon's field and got slaughtered like 56-0.
Pat McAfee talked about how because he played at Plum. He talked about playing Justin King.
Yep.
So he said, "Yeah, my senior year, Justin King had like 6 touchdowns against us. We got murdered." Justin King, like, you know what I mean, man? Like, D1 talent is just that's so different.
Well, he was just a beast. Like, to talk about Justin King around here, like, first quarter would be 56-0. Like, come on now.
All right,
like,
so here's the clip of Terry right here in high school. Hold on.
And that's against Connellsville. Yep, played them too. They're in our conference. Standard. This is like the Mike Tomlin standard is the standard thing. Yeah. And he's mad at him because they lost 20 or they won 27-0. Or his halftime is 27-0. And they're playing down to the level of competition. The audio's not on, but yeah.
You can't hear it?
No.
Oh, my bad.
No worries.
Did you beat him, Thomas?
Gateway.
The team that Coach Terry's playing at right there.
No, that's
So
what he,
Monroeville, the city of Monroeville, their high school is called Gateway.
Okay.
And right outside of it is like Plum. Okay. We never won against Gateway. Gateway, my senior year, they went to the championship and lost to Pittsburgh Central Catholic and missed the extra point and lost the Whippeal championship, the regional championship for PA. And they're at Heinz Field and they were kicking the extra point and they lost it, and they lost like 6-7 or something like that. Yeah, 6-7. Yeah. Well,
I don't know what that means, but
I don't know what it
now?
means either. Yes, I can hear it now. Please play it.
All right. Yeah, I'll play it. Hold on.
What's here? This is as bad an effort as we've ever played, and it's the wrong time of year for it. You come on Sunday ready to practice because we're going to put pads on. You guys don't want to do it, I'll beat it into you. We will run, we will practice, and I'm going to bust your asses on Sunday until you act like you want to be a champion. It's absolutely pathetic to break down and get your asses out of here. I don't want a word in the locker room.
We're talking in the locker room.
All right, pause, because we never did a Sunday practice. We did film. We did film.
Yeah.
We never went live or
I was
anything
gonna
on
say,
Sunday. Like
wearing pads on Sunday, that never happened. So
having a practice on the day of the
He said-
Lord, never.
He said that was pathetic, and then he said no talking in the locker room.
This must
Yeah,
be this must have been in October as they're prepping for to go and play for the playoffs around here start in November.
And they
November
won
1st, so.
27-0, man. Like,
Well, you get complacent, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, just think of it. It's football synonymous anywhere, whatever level. You get complacent. Even the score does not reflect the level of commitment and process. And you know your guys. So when you're beating a team 27-0, everybody's like, wow, we really beat the brakes off of them. And the next game you lose to UCLA, you know what I'm saying? A team lower caliber. It's not because they were a team of lower caliber. It's that your effort and your your level of focus, your commitment to the level of excellence was not there in practice. So how could it be there in the the game?
Yeah.
Rob Chesney says that in some of his interviews. He says the level of your floor,
So back in the day, I had a track coach that reminds me of Terry Smith. He yelled at me so loud one time, I felt my bladder move. Like that's a real coach right there,
Yeah.
I literally almost urinated myself because he yelled at me so bad one time. But yeah, so like Terry Smith, he's a real coach. I mean, but we're getting off subject here, but
that's all good. It's all revolving around Terry, isn't it?
Yeah. But
that means that he's just a good man. Like, and we're blessed to have somebody like that, in college football, but definitely in Penn State. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, and man, like two-a-days, you're out on the field. The second week on a Wednesday morning, 7 a.m., you got your wet, smelly pads on that didn't dry from the night before. You're warming up, and you're like, "Oh, dude, this sucks." You know what it feels like to be in the fourth quarter, and you literally can't move, you can't lift your arms. You know what it feels like to get hit, to hit people. You know what it feels to lose, to win. You know what it feels like to literally be hit so hard, you got snot coming out of your nose. That's when you play, you have a different view of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Terry Smith, that's the kind of guy you want leading you into battle because he's hard on you. You know what I mean? He's doing the same thing at Penn State right now. Guarantee it.
I'll tell you a small snippet of my senior year. We lost a lot of games. We were playing Erie McDowell. Like, we were playing teams still that we shouldn't be playing, the Gateways, the teams that we shouldn't be playing. But I will say this about high school. We played a team called Penn Trafford. And Penn Trafford won the state championship here, in like 5 or 6A a couple years back and stuff, and they have a very, very good program. But their program wasn't that great. They were good. They were really good. They produce a lot of good wrestlers. But we had them on an off year, and we haven't beat them for 15 years, since the 90s, right? And what I'm about to say rings true. And it rings true about old coaches and the effect that they have on players and on young talent. Okay. Our head coach, Ray Ritz, from Jeanette, came to Latrobe. And so what happened was we played this team, but we were honoring our old coach, Lou Hart, which was my dad's coach, which was like a long-term, like Joe Paterno type coach that was there. He had Lou Hart had the pregame speech for our team. And he went off, what's your last name? Oh, was your dad this? I know your dad. This is what he played. This is what he did. This is his accolades. This is what he meant to the team. And do you know what that meant as a pregame speech for that game? Mm-hmm. That set everybody's hair on fire. That completely was like, this guy, like, I come from Latrobe, and Latrobe was notoriously horrible. Okay. But for a night on a field that's been used for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? That was used by the entire school district. Midget football used it, and it was a slosh pit that night. It was just a mud pit. We played the best mud pit football game you ever had. 5 of 6 on 4th down stops. We beat them 12-3, and it was the first time in 15 years, and it's the only time since that we beat Penn Trafford. And it's all because of that coach, right? Mm-hmm. That he was able to really motivate and inspire. And it took a good coach in Ray Ritz to bring that person in and see what kind of belief that could instill in an organization. And Terry Smith's doing that in a way. He's the living embodiment of that blend of generation that can instill that level of motivation.
Mm-hmm. Intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they propelled us into the playoffs. It was great.
You know a real coach when you see one, man. Ryan Day, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Dabo Sweeney. Like, bro, they are real coaches, man.
They're not your friend. They're not your friend.
Exactly.
They're accountable. They hold that standard. They are the embodiment of that standard. Yeah. They just don't say, "Oh, the standard is the standard, and this is how we do a press conference."
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Yeah.
Like they are in the trenches with you.
Yeah.
Coach Cowher. Yep.
Franklin said, I'm a player's coach. I always have been. These players need to know this about me. I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. You do your thing, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You can't do it that way. Like, you have to be old school, yelling at your team. Like, what did he say? It's pathetic. No talking in the locker room. I mean,
yeah. But that had weight to those guys. Yeah. They knew that they were miles above that competition, which Connellsville's a bunch of farmers, and they've had good years, but notoriously they were in the same boat as us, right? But he knows, like, if you play against bad competition like that, if you play against the Villanovas and the lesser talent, the people that you shouldn't even be on the field with, the Savannah States in Alabama's case, the Eastern Washingtons, and you're Alabama and you're a blue blood, you're going to get tested, and you're not going to be ready for it when those moments count.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like Terry Smith or any big coach, Nick Saban, he didn't care if they were playing New Mexico State. He was going to chew you out. 137 left in the 4th, up 59-0. He was going to chew you out. Like AJ McCarron, he went in real quick, guys. We're 17 subs away. Arctic just reminded me. Please help us get to 1,000. So if everybody in here just subscribes, we'll get to 1,000 subs. I want to do that before we end tonight. But
please, this what's it called? I just want to say something about the subs. If you're bored during or before the the Turkey Bowl, or you wanna pull up something, you pull up a short vid and stuff like the show. Like, it's awesome. I'm not getting any money for it. I'm doing it for the love of the game. These guys love Penn State football and are great guys. Mark Sr., I love your content. I love everything that you have to say every single time you're on here. And Mark, man, thank you for every opportunity and platform that we can to talk about this wonderful, crazy, wild search for something better for Penn State.
Exciting.
Man, today Chris Gorky, he sent me messages. He sent me text. He said, "You're getting roasted in the chat boards on BWI or something." And I laughed. I'm like, good, it gets me notoriety. But they were in there roasting me about something. I don't know. I'm not in those chat boards. But he said it's because of I had Chesney and it said locked in. The thumbnail, it was a clip. It wasn't even a full episode. It was a clip. And people were like, Mark Lesko podcast said we got it. It's like, dude, if you guys are going by my word, first of all, I don't even think half of you even know who I am. And you're going by my word. Like, it was crazy. But it's just funny that people will say that stuff and just none of you should be listening to anybody right now. The only thing you should be listening to is when the guy's hired, and that's it. Like, we're just talking. Like, we're all just talking. We cannot predict the future. Chris Gorky literally knows. What's up, Mr. Bucknuts? Chris Gorky literally knows, like, he knows so many people, and some of you have the gall to say that he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like, are you kidding me right now? That guy lives, eats, and breathes this stuff. You know what I mean? So I think I'm going to have him on tomorrow morning to talk about the latest news. But some people, they like get mad about what the prediction is. It's like, what do you want him to do? He's just saying what he's told. That's it. You know what I mean? So, but it was just funny.
It's exciting.
It was. But it gets you notoriety, Thomas, I mean, I showed you guys. We were laughing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think as a commonality, all of us will agree that we're really grateful for Terry and not just the success he has had, but we made a difficult decision. Terry was the right person to bring this team together. Okay? Mm-hmm. And we're looking forward to what's next. Okay? And we can just throw a bunch of darts on a dartboard, but that's what anybody's doing right now. I mean, even credible sources are doing that because nobody knows. So casting stones on, is this person, you shouldn't listen to his podcast because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Nobody knows what they're talking about until the definitive decision.
Right.
Exactly. And we're just having a good old time with it, man. We're enjoying our night,
Yeah, there was people saying, Landon said people were saying, he's like, 24/7, the reputable website, they're like 247 doesn't give enough updates. It's like yeah, because they don't just listen to every Tom, Dick, and Harry and what they have to say. Like my cousin's brother's wife's son, twice removed cousin, said that John Gruden is in State College talking to Sue Paterno. It's like, why didn't you report on that? It's like, probably because it's not true. Like,
like in the favorite recipe. That's what he's doing,
Urban Meyer was in State College. There was a lot of people in State College. Of course, it's a huge job. But thank you guys for bringing up my name in the chat boards. I do appreciate it because people that said they didn't know who I was, well, they might have looked me up now. So, but you guys, anything else on the rivalry weekend?
John Carter was at the 2008 game, right, Mark?
Played 2094. Yeah, I know. I'm saying he was at the game.
Yeah, at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Don't try and quiz me, Rage. Don't try and quiz me.
He broke off about an 80-yard run on the first play or something.
Yeah, in the Rose Bowl, first play of the ball game, Keith Jackson And that was a busted play. I forget who the one lineman was, but he said he totally screwed up his blocking assignment, and he thought Joe was going to rip his head off. And then Kajana was so good. If you watch that play, Kajana went up, he fell, he hit someone so hard it kept him up, and then he just broke away. That was a totally busted play. I mean, Kajana Carter was so good. He would have been a Hall of Fame running back if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, blew his knee out, I think. Yeah.
He was so good, man.
Wow,
Thomas, like, he was just a North and South guy, you know?
I really think that Penn State's identity should lie in that smash mouth mentality. Much like one of your viewers said earlier, if anything, like that could be their bread and butter going forward. No more gimmicks, sustenance, genuineness, integrity.
These gimmicks don't make sense, man. That is not Penn State at all.
It's just
not
as
even
bad.
Remotely close.
Mark, it's just as bad as them just throwing like a 60-yard bomb and having it being incomplete. Oh, you overthrew your receiver. Wasted play, wasted time. You know, I might see hats hitting hats. You know,
like the importance of keeping smash mouth football. Absolutely. Like, I'm just saying, I want to do something that works, but Penn State football is Penn State football for a reason. Yeah. What they do works. So if they can keep somewhat just simple smash mouth football in the play sheet, like, that'd be great. But I will say this, as someone who watched a lot of Penn State football, a lot of Joe Paterno football, he had so many games that it was just like so boring, low scoring. Like when it's 16-6 in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, and you make it 22-6 because Anthony Scarrato took an onside kickback for 6. Like, that is not fun football to watch. But
you have to learn to enjoy what that was, though. Like, I'll be honest with you, you don't get to 409 without winning ugly. You know,
absolutely.
I'm of the belief that you have to learn to love the ugly wins. But Penn State's a Northern team. Some of their guys, like Northwestern's building like a I don't know if they have a roof or whatnot, but everybody in the North should be able to run the ball. And if you can't run the ball in the North and it gets cold, shame on you for not putting into your package how to stop the run and how to run the ball in the North. Because broken arm tackles will happen. And you have an upside against the teams of the South when they have to come up to see you in playoffs and in bowl games, like the Pinstripe Bowl. When they have to come up, like Miami's coming up to Pitt, right? And Miami don't want to be in 40 to 20 degree weather. Heck, tomorrow it might be like 11 degrees down here in the valley. So it's like nobody wants to be in collision, you know, head on head, shoulder on shoulder, you know, making a tackle.
I would.
I know we would because we're Northerners. But,
I would break my neck to us. Tomorrow.
That's such an advantage.
The Letterman despised Franklin. His fragile ego would not tolerate. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, dude was an imposter. Sorry, absolutely. Mr. Bucknett said it's snowing in Cleveland. How's the weather in State College? It is 35 degrees. It is cold. It's windy, but it's not snowing. So, Mr. Bucknuts, you're the man. Mark, you've really been blowing up lately. Keep posting on IG Reels and YouTube Shorts. It will expose your content to more people. Thanks, Arctic.
Yeah, man.
Again, guys, there's 49 of you watching right now. If you just all subscribe, I'll hit 1,000 subs. Please do so. If you haven't yet, please do so because I really want to get to 1,000 tonight. These decommits, they didn't want to play for PSU. They wanted to play for Big Game James, so let them. All right. That's great. Windy outside. Last year, he's actually small game James now. So last year, Michigan OSU game was wild. It was. Carter was a beast. Yes, he was. No more Civil War and backyard brawl. Yeah, see, like, dude, Pitt and West Virginia, for example, they should do that at the end of the year when they both, let's say they both have playoff implications on the line. The backyard brawl should mean at least 12 of their players come out with broken limbs, and then they just ruin their playoff chances. But at least they beat their rival. You know what I mean? Like,
so I remember in 2007. I remember in 2007 when they played, and it was like in late September, October timeframe, and that was when West Virginia was number 2, and they beat them 13-7. Or they McAfee missed his extra point field goal, and they upset him and stuff. And I thought it should be pushed back a little bit more than that. I mean, yeah, these rivalry games need to be a little bit later, but they need to be like on the cusp of like Halloween, like right around there. That'd be great. I mean,
Dad, do you think VT or Franklin will succeed at VT? Arctic is asking.
Yeah, I do think James Franklin will succeed at Virginia Tech, but it'll be a 10-2 season. It's just like us up here. It's just succeeding, winning over 500. Yes, I think it will succeed, but succeed for me is national championship. That's what succeed.
When your head coach when your head coach comes out and says, well, 10-2, a lot of programs would kill for that. It's like, you need to be fired right now.
Yeah.
That is not Penn State football saying 10-2 is enough. You guys are going to win more games if you've ever won. You're going to make a statue of them down there, but that's it. So
his first 2 years of him being down there, he'll be well. Like, he'll do well. He'll propel guys into the NFL, but what's going to happen is it's going to be the same thing as it was here.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have guys opting out of bowl games more than ever, to where if it was Joe Pa or anybody else, there might have been significantly less, right? And then what's going to happen off the flip side of that is every single year you're just going to keep weaning down in that, like, on the field coach presence that Aaron was talking about. And eventually it's going to get to the point where he's going to have some losing seasons. It's going to get pretty bad for him there as well.
Yeah, I mean, he had, a 20-year deal for $300 million. So that's really going to pay off well. BT he's going to bankrupt that whole school.
I'm concerned about their bank account. That's for sure.
They're gonna. The only thing left is going to be that rock on the freaking roof. That's the only thing that's going to be left behind.
Because he's got another like 15 or 18 million just for the support staff, and they gave it to him.
I don't know what they paid him, but it's too much. Whatever they paid him, whatever they paid him, it's too much.
$8.2 million.
Yeah, it's all going to go to his. It's all going to go to his helicopter fund.
Yeah. So that's probably more than half of what he should have been given, but
8.2 for I think 5.
Yeah, a lot of people can con their way into. I mean, it is what it is. But good luck, Virginia Tech. I like the school. I respect. I like Virginia Tech. I just don't like your coach. So, but
they'll have recruiting like crazy down there too.
Mm-hmm. So, do you guys have anything else to say about top 25 playoff? I mean, the games. A lot of games on tomorrow. I'm excited about that. But
all eyes on Michigan.
Yeah.
Maybe it's no game.
Yeah, let's hope that Michigan wins. But all right, guys, I think we're good for the night.
Thomas?
I'm sorry?
You have a prediction? Ohio State, Michigan?
20s, game in the 20s, weather affecting it, wind affecting it, like 28-24, 28-21 within a touchdown. Okay. It's going to be close.
Is it at Ohio State?
No, it's in Michigan. It's in Michigan.
Okay. That's right. Last year was in
I think
Ohio
they're supposed
State.
to get 4 foot of snow.
That'll help.
Well, it's a 30-30 game, so half of it's going to be light out, half of it's going to be dark out. So we'll see what team wants it more when it gets dark.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a felony counter this weekend and count how many felonies are committed before, during, and after the game. Like last year, they had the Arizona State spear. And they were like trying to rip it out of each other's hands, like that's so dangerous.
Well, even last year with Michigan playing the flag, I mean, Ohio State's going to do something pretty bad if they win that game. at Michigan.
I
It's
don't know.
gonna be pretty disastrous, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
they always talk about, the rivalry and I don't know.
Where is that linebacker playing now? Ohio State.
Laurinaitis?
No.
Not Laurinaitis, no.
Sosa?
Huh?
I thought he was at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Jack Sawyer. Yeah,
33,
he's
yeah,
at Pittsburgh.
33.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an edge.
He's
Defensive
a
end.
perfect fit
Yeah.
there. I'll tell you what. One thing about the Steelers, they've always been pretty good at drafting. More often than not, they're good at drafting. They're good at developing guys, but they got the two of the best players from that team on the Steelers right now.
Yeah.
Will Howard and Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer is a Steeler. I mean, that's a Steeler right there. So, but all right, guys, I think that's it for tonight. I'll probably be on tomorrow morning with Chris Gorky. Someone commented earlier, they're like, dude, I feel like you were just on here for an hour like earlier. You're back on here again. He's like, I can't do that many hours. Well, I can. So I'll be on again tomorrow morning, guys. So Dad, Thomas, Aaron, thank you all for coming on. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving.
We will be, again, I'll be back on tomorrow morning. So you guys keep an eye out for that. And have a safe holiday. We'll see you guys tomorrow and post-game Saturday. So
okay. 2 more wins for Coach Terry.
That's right.
Yeah, let's go.
Go State.
Thanks, Coach.
Let's get a bowl game. Let's get a bowl win, guys.
See you, Thomas.
Hey, we'll see you soon.
See you guys.
God bless.